Russian Defense Ministry. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. How are you all doing on this wonderful Thursday evening? I'm doing well. Just got done doing a stream with Jake over on our YouTube channel, Hannah and Jake. So some of you may have been there for that. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's time to go solo. I'm doing this one alone. I'm a lone wolf, okay? So, welcome everyone. If this is your first time here, I'm Hannah. I'm a leftist streamer. Today, we're doing Chud Watch. Chud Watch is where we look at sort of right-wing weirdos, from QAnon to fascists to just big dum-dums. So, enjoy the show. Oh, it's also come to my attention, I just reached exactly 8,000 followers on my Twitch channel. So thank you everyone. We might have like a special celebratory stream in the next couple days or so. I don't know. But either way, we got to 8,000 followers. I appreciate it so much. Thank you everyone who's made this first year on Twitch so great for me. It's wonderful, and I appreciate it. Cotton Candy 903, thanks for subscribing for 13 months, says 13 months. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I caught a stream. Well, I'm glad you could make it. Morak Ben Eoth says, have the first draft of some art I commissioned for my Hell Knight Pathfinder character. Her classes are War, Priest, Shaman, so she's very debuff focused. Her flavor of Hell Knights are blind and only see magic auras, hence the eyeless helmet. That's very cool. I love the helmet design. Neato. Thanks for sharing that. Princess Amelia with 100 bits says, hey Hannah, got my second shot of COVID vaccine today. Did fine with the first shot. Hopefully I'll do just as well with the second. Excellent. Thank you so much for getting that. Everyone appreciates it, except for idiots. Between my YouTube and Twitch channel, which is a greater source of income? Why do you ask? It's kind of a private question. Twitch, though. Don't ignore your bits. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Where are your bits? I don't even see them. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, was just checking you and Jake on YouTube, wanted to message y'all to say in unison, Donna Noble has left the building, Donna Noble has been saved. All creepy, but my Google payment messed it up. Kirthan says, can't stay the whole time because of D&D. Let's go. Sorry, I missed some of these earlier ones. I still don't see Daddy Sume's. Are you sure you used bits? I don't see it. I don't even see it in my feed. Trying to find it. I don't see any bits messaged by you. Literally the first one. Well, post it again! Probably Lannister, thanks for subscribing for 9 months. That's a stream, baby. This baby's name is Patricia Angolis. We're on a hype train, by the way. 72% to level 1. Fella Dude Man says, here we go. So what do we got going on today? Peter, QAnon believer, says Trump has 33 days left to act. So we'll check out those. John Doyle has a new video in which he says they have to be skeptical of DeSantis, probably because he's not fashy enough for his tastes. Elliot Hulse says semen retention will save the world. Not sure about that one. Maybe some vegan teacher. We have a video, How to Thrive in a Slave Society, that someone sent, and Bryson Gray has a new Q&A from yesterday. Cotton Candy 903 says, have some bits. It's been a while since I've given you bits. Thank you. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, hell, I better get interaction with you and Jake on Twitch like I always bid min, but I've spent way more on you here than I ever would making a $5 YouTube message. Probably true. Killjoy says, I just had to pay $1,200 for new glasses. That sucks. Daddy Sume with a link. Ah, it's an image. There it is. Oh, Daddy Sume says, who is my corn slut? Referencing what the end of the Hannah and Jake stream was. Andrew Batella says, are you choosing to cover Peter more often lately? Is he getting worse? Both. I'm choosing to cover him more because it gets increasingly interesting to me as this devolves. Sky Comet Fallen says, it's Elliot. I need to start drinking now so I can handle the hypersexism. Matthias Octavius, thanks for gifting a sub, bringing us over to the 100% of the level 1 hype train. Appreciate it. The Peter segments are pretty popular too, so that doesn't hurt. But I just find him a fascinating individual. I feel like Jane Goodall with the apes, except like even an ape would not trust an anonymous 8chan poster. Pull up some extra stuff in case. Cotton Candy says, have more bits, wondering if I should get high for this. If you want. Ashy Boo says, 8chan, 30 bits says, well, weed cures everything is still better than diseases are fake, I suppose. We were talking about this on Hannah and Jake, but, Chris Chibnall's leaving Doctor Who, which I'm pretty happy about. Feel bad for Jodie. I think she got the short end of the stick during her tenure, but, you know. Hopefully they'll retcon out the Timeless Child stuff. That's not hard to do. Just say the Master was lying. It's just a thought. "25% to level 2. Or the Master was tricked, sure. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, I have some isopropyl alcohol and some weed. What should I do with it, Hannah? Clean any of your pieces with the isopropyl alcohol. And then after they have dried and you have rinsed them of all alcohol, use them to smoke the weed. Kirthan says, what if they were intending for the Master to be lying the entire time? They didn't present it that way. If they did, the way they presented the last episode of that season is even more bizarre. Either way, it's a bad episode. Do we know if Peter is still watching? I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. Schwiggity Schwa, thanks for 15 months. Red Werewolf, thanks for 3 months. Moira Soma says, have you seen Peter's Rumble today? Apparently all people who are vaccinated are going to die in the next 3 years. He really believes this. Yeah, we're going to cover that. Cotton Candy says, I asked chat on YouTube, but where do you think the best place to start watching Doctor Who is at? 2005, Series 1 with Christopher Eccleston. If for some reason you just don't like it, and let me be clear, there are going to be some rough steps in that first season, but a lot of it's really great. The only really, really bad episodes of that season, in my opinion, are the Fart Aliens episodes. I think there's like 2 Fart Alien episodes, and then the third one where a Fart Alien kind of makes a contribution to the plot. Get through those episodes, and the rest are really good. If for some reason you just can't deal with it, then start in Series 5 with Matt Smith. But I'd highly recommend you start with Eccleston. That would be the preference. Slander's Sickness, or Slender's, hold on, I could never, why do you people do this to me? Slender sickness. Slender sickness! Stop doing elite speak, people. Says, just found out Doyle actually has a following and might take over Nick Fuentes' spot. Terrifying thought. Yep. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. Morok says, I mean, they ignore, like, all the half-human on my mother's side stuff from the movie. They've retconned dumb changes before. Yeah, but that was like a TV movie that was kind of its own thing. It's canon, but, you know, that was easier to dismiss than they spent a whole episode, a season finale of the show, specifically to exposit this retcon. So it's a little harder to ignore, but I still hope they just retcon the retcon. Undo it. Nick says, farting aliens. Yep. Probably Lannister says, visiting family for the first time in almost 2 years since getting vaxxed, and I am reminded why I didn't visit even when I lived there. Thanks for streaming. Sorry. What fart aliens? There's fart aliens in season 1 of Doctor Who from 2005. Princess Amelia says, I like the first 2 fart alien Doctor Who episodes more than the third, to be honest, but then I also like classic Who. Yeah. The fart aliens did make the mutant pig. Doctor Who fart aliens. Not adipose. Not fat aliens. Fart aliens. How hard is this?
The emergency protocols, detailing the actions to be taken.
Job.
Honestly, it's super.
Oh, excuse me.
What's going on here? And where's the rest of the cabinet? Why haven't they been airlifted in?
I cancelled it. They didn't get in the way. Oh.
This is legit one of the worst scenes in all of Doctor Who. The fart aliens are terrible, and they are not representative of the rest of the show. So if you ever decide to watch Doctor Who, and you get to the fart alien episodes, and you're like, what is this? Be aware, that's like, if you can get through fart aliens, you have gotten through the worst thing, one of the worst things Doctor Who has ever done in its almost 60 years, okay? So, get through the fart aliens and you'll be fine. Get through the fart aliens and then you can get to the everybody lives moment, and that's worth it. Minute left on the hype train, 33% to level 3. Come on, people. We must do it. Mike Mack says, how I view the new series 9th, edgy, 10th, ego, 11th, cookie, 12, boomer, 13th, troublemaker. Sure. Princess Amelia says, both fat aliens and fart aliens, Doctor Who really has done it all. They're called the Slitheen. Mike Mack says, remember the plastic alien spider? No. Morok says, I still think they're better than, Absorbalofts, to be honest. Is that the one where it's the guy from that episode where the lady turns into a slab? Probably Lannister with 30 bits says, hype. Cotton Candy with 30 bits says, more bits. Felix Night Owl says, hype, hype, hype. Hype, hype, hype. Hype your Hannah. Oh, like shake your... hype, hype, hype. Hype, hype, hype. Hype your Hannah. Oh, no, we're not going to do it. That sucks. That minute went by so quick. Bummer. Cotton Candy says, thanks for the advice. No problem. Alright, with the hype train over, let's dive right into it. Okay, it's time for another episode of What's Peter Up To Now. Every new episode where we cover Peter, I'm going to come up with a new title for the show, because Peter tends to do that to his show all the time. Welcome to watching Peter lose his mind in real time. That almost rhymes. And so did that. Peter is a QAnon conspiracy theorist, and that's about it. Let's check out what he has to say.
Trump has 33 days to act and do big moves. If I don't see anything big coming from Team Trump in the next 33 days, I'll start to worry a little bit. And now, why is that?
So 33 days. If Trump does not do a coup in 33 days, a little over a month, then Peter's going to be worried. Noted.
Do you guys know what's happening as soon as September 1st? Mandatory vaccines for the U.S. Army.
Good.
That's why Trump has to act in the next...
That's far from unreasonable. In fact, this is an interesting history tidbit. How crude smallpox inoculations helped George Washington win the war. One of the first uses of mass wartime inoculations of soldiers happened during the Revolutionary War. This was, of course, before the invention of what we would consider a vaccine today, but similar concept in that it was a little bit of contaminant that would prepare your body so it would be prepared if you actually caught the disease. Similar principle, far less refined. When George Washington took command of the Continental Army in 1775, America was fighting a war on two fronts, one for independence from the British, and the second for survival against smallpox. Because Washington knew the ravages of the disease firsthand, he understood that the smallpox virus, an invisible enemy, could cripple his army and end the war before it began. That's why Washington eventually made the bold decision to inoculate all American troops who had never been sickened with smallpox at the time when inoculation was a crude and often deadly process. His gamble paid off. The measure stayed off smallpox long enough to win a years-long fight with the British. In the process, Washington pulled off the first massive state-funded immunization campaign in American history. George Washington, even though this inoculation process was crude and had a much higher likelihood of leading to negative outcomes, forced all conscripts to take this. And they did. Aren't these the people that people like Peter worship and idolize as borderline demigods of American, mythology? Take a cue from George Washington. Get inoculated. Morok says, the Absorbaloft was the fat guy who absorbs people, and yes, someone turns into a concrete slab. Such a bad episode, and I've watched most of Classic Who. Nick says, can't spell Peter's political perspective without pot. Tucker White says, I like dudes, but I don't think I want to see Peter's pee-pee. And then Mike Max with a link. Tucker White says, wait, I thought Trump was in control of the military. Why would the Shadow Lord allow this to happen? Trump, according to Peter, this is not true, but Peter believes Trump is only in control of the Space Force, not the rest of the military. Killjoy says, small bit of info, they would give them a bit of gunk from the cow pox blisters, which was much less severe disease. Lily Lovestuff says the military has always required vaccinations. My dad was vaccinated against all kinds of things that most people were never given, like vaccinating troops is normal. Yeah, it turns out if you want a standing army, it helps if they're standing and not sick in bed. Did I watch the new Channel 5 QAnon video? No, maybe we'll watch it next Tuesday.
I would
What was this?
dare
Oh, Planet of the Spiders.
stop me. Everything
Oh yeah, was this Psychic Spiders or something?
Dare not take the crystal.
Oh, Doctor Who. I love you.
next 33 days. My name is Peter Hanna.
Bardlock Moses says, I got so many vaccines while in the military, right? This is not uncommon. This is not a new thing, but I'm sure Republicans are going to politicize it because they're hacks. Oh yeah, the good news. Baha and I finally found a house to go live in. Woo! So yeah, I still own this house, and I'm going to be letting a friend stay here. But yeah, I'm going to move in with Baja in a very nice home. I wish I could show you pictures of the house, but, like, there are so many ways you could use that to reverse image search and find the address. I'm not going to do that. But it's a beautiful house. It really, really is. It's got a nice office. So in the next 2-3 weeks, whenever I can get scheduled with some movers, all this is going to change. We're going to be moving to the new place, new office, new house. Am I going to miss having Jake as a neighbor? Yeah. But, you know, that's life. Most people don't live right down the street from their friends. And we're going to see each other a lot anyway, so it's fine. There is central air. Yes.
This is Peter's political perspective. Click on the description button on the bottom right corner of the screen so you can stay updated on all the exciting information of all these chess moves between...
I'll show you guys pictures when I can take my own pictures. Like, right now I would have to use the pictures from, like, the real estate website, and obviously you could reverse image search that. Even if I, you know, just showed them on screen, someone could screenshot the screen and whatever. I know that makes me sound paranoid, but I cover a lot of really crazy people. Marcel, Peter... I cover people who get very mad at me. So it's best that I not dox myself, even in really convoluted ways. So, once I can take pictures of my own that are not searchable online, I'll share some of those with you guys.
They say Team Satan and Team God, and also all the updates on what's going on with Trump. So, let me dive right into it.
Tucker White says, I don't know how far it goes back, but I know one of the earliest advocates for inoculation was Cotton Mather. It's one of the few good things he stood for. I don't know who Cotton Mather is.
I'm giving Trump a deadline. In fact, it doesn't matter if I'm giving him a deadline or not. There is a hard line in the sand. There is a window of opportunity here, which is the month of August.
The month of August is going to be interesting for the QAnon people because not only is this mandatory vaccination thing for the military probably going to happen. I did read an actual article about it. Scratch that. I saw the title of an article about it on Twitter. I didn't actually click the article. But the title was relatively clear. It said, you know, Biden is working to make it mandatory for the military to get vaccinations. He's the commander-in-chief. He can absolutely do that. So, I assume that will probably happen in the next month or so. And I'm assuming the QAnon people are going to freak out about it because they think the vaccine is evil, because they don't know what they're talking about, and they think that the military is like the last hope for Donald Trump in the country or whatever. So that's going to mess with him. On top of that, Mike Lindell has lied to these people and said that, like, on the 13th of August, he's having a big event, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to reveal so much stuff that by the next day, Biden will have to, what's the word? Step down or whatever. It's really stupid, but a lot of QAnon people believe it. And August is going to be a really, 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 really disappointing month for a lot of them, and it's going to be a turning point for some. Some might snap out of it and be like, wow, I have been lied to for years, and I bought it, and I've been scammed. Others are going to go even deeper and be like, the deep state must be even stronger than we thought, and it won't be good. Daddy Sume with a link.
Tell me, do you have air conditioning?
Yes, we have central air.
In every room?
Except the bathroom. Why?
Oh, well, you do know what that means, don't you?
Wait, why did he stab her? What is this from? Okay. I hope that went on Earl's list. It's a My Name is Earl joke. Does anyone remember My Name is Earl? Ginger Wheels, thanks for rating. Go check out Ginger Wheels' channel. Oh, holy shit. Oh no. Oh no. So many more people were watching me than I thought. The Surf's rated. Shit. At least I look kind of nice today. That's good. Hi, people from the Surf's raid. Give me a follow if you like what you see. I'm Hannah. I'm a trans leftist streamer. Today's Chud Watch, I'm covering all sorts of weird right-wingers. This is Peter. He's a QAnon conspiracy theorist, and he's in a gun cult. And when I say he's in a gun cult, I mean his church does arranged marriages, wear bullet crowns, call the pastor the king and his wife the queen, and they bring their guns to church. And not just like, oh, they have, you know, concealed carry or they're on their hip. When I say he's in a gun cult... Not culture, cult. This is what their services look like. So we're dealing with, like, an interesting guy. This is the king, the Reverend Moon, and his gun crown. Okay, we're all up to speed. Peter doesn't like me very much. We've talked a couple times, and now he hates me because someone called CPS on him. Because he doesn't take his children to the doctor. Again, go check out the Surfs. Lance, you the best. MN Broodwitch, thanks for 8 months. And is there anything else? Chat's going very fast. Bumble Homestead says, this lady posted in the Nextdoor app in my neighborhood saying her niece was sick, and please get your vaccine. Of course, she got a flood of crazies. I hate this place. Ew. Tucker says, Hannah, you're a communist agent. I'm pretty sure the viewers of the Surfs know a fellow comrade. Just Belmont, thanks for gifting a sub. Ninetails Cosmic Fox says, the Surfs didn't want my bits, so you get them. Long time since the debate, and it's cool to do another if you want. Yeah, sometime. TubeMan says, hey Hannah, I just got here. Did you hear that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney? I did. That's hilarious.
Now, I've been hearing a lot of stuff. Oh, Trump's going to be inaugurated in August and all this crazy stuff. And I'm not really believing it. Like, supposedly...
I think this is the first time Peter hasn't outright believed something Mike Lindell has said. That's probably progress, right? Because I feel like it's pretty indicative of a not-so-great mindset if you automatically believe the words of an ex-cocaine addict, pillow, infomercial pitchman.
August is the hot month and big things are going to happen and big bombshells and all these truth bombs are going to happen in August. I'm holding my breath, just like you guys. When it comes to, I love to think of dates and be excited. Oh, something's going to happen on this date. But really, at the end of the day, I'm kind of exhausted with dates. And I'm sure you guys are.
It gets pretty exhausting when every single prediction you and your fellow grifters make fails to come true. It was going to be January 6th, and we all know what happened there. Frankly, there were dates before January 2. We had the Electoral College vote. Before that, we had the... we had some lawsuits and stuff. We had January 6th, where they were okaying the votes in Congress. And, of course, we know what happened there. They're having Senate hearings about that. Or was it House congressional meetings? Whatever it is. Then there was January 20th, then it was March, then it was April, I think there were some dates in May, then it got pushed to July 4th, and now we're in, like, now it's supposed to be, like, August 13th or 14th? How do you go by this many dates? How do you blow past this many predictions and see them in your rear view window and not think to yourself, maybe I fucked up. Maybe my basic premise isn't true. Maybe Democrats, even though they're certainly flawed and not great, for a lot of reasons, I'm probably understating there, maybe they're not satanic, child-murdering pedophiles that drink the blood of the innocent. No? We're married to that idea? Okay, great. Ninetails Cosmic Fox says, this is what learning from your mistakes protect against. Yep. It's frustrating, too, because, like, Peter has been scammed before. Peter lost $60,000 or so in a scam where someone said he was going to start, like, a weed dispensary with him, and then he took the money and ran away. And Peter... the lesson Peter learned from that was terrible. The guy happened to be in a wheelchair, and I swear to God, we watched this video the other day. Peter was talking about how this guy scammed him, and instead of learning to be skeptical of the claims of anyone, I swear to God, other people who were here can attest to this is what Peter said. Peter's lesson from that was he shouldn't trust people in wheelchairs. I swear to God that's what Peter said. I'm paraphrasing, but that was what his lesson was. And that's why he's being scammed again.
Expected big actions to happen by now, and they haven't. But September 1st is a big day, and if September comes and goes and I don't see any big action from Trump, I'll be very, very concerned, because it's been said, it's in the news, that September, as early as September 1st, mandatory vaccines for the Army. Now, most Army people haven't been taking vaccines.
I don't even know if that's statistically true. Let's see if I can find anything on that. Big Sweet Demon says, because there are 1,000 ways to go from there, dates are distraction from the audit. This is all just a false flag to keep us submissive and breedable. The goalposts has a motor and is practically a Jeep at this point. Oh yeah, I forgot about this stupid audit shit. Military vaccination rate. Military's COVID vaccination rate lags behind Pentagon's hopes. This was posted July 16th. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Friday that 70% of the active duty troops have received at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. So Peter's not even correct. Peter said most people in the military haven't. No, a majority have. 70% have gotten at least one dose so far. That's a majority, but it's not enough when you're the military, so they're probably going to mandate it. And this one says 62% are fully vaccinated, which again, is a majority. Surprise! It's funny too, because Peter is of the mind that he incorrectly thinks that while Biden is in control of most of the military, Biden's in control of the entire military. Peter thinks that Donald Trump is still in charge of Space Force, which is funny, because I don't have the breakdown on this, but if we looked at the statistics of vaccine, who's taken a vaccine, I would imagine Space Force is probably higher than the rest of the armed forces, specifically because of the expertise that goes into people who work on Space Force, because so much of the Space Force stuff is technically oriented. It's maintaining satellites and different orbital things that we have. So these are people with, like, good education. I'm not saying it's impossible for someone with education to be anti-vax. I'm just saying, on the whole, statistically, it wouldn't surprise me, speculatively, if Space Force, as it exists with, like, its 5,000 members, probably have a higher vaccination rate than the rest of the military. Just putting it out there. Tucker White says, that's a shitty thing to do. Off topic, Hannah, do you have $60,000 you can wire me? I have this Nigerian prince who wants to give me a few $1 billion. Well, of course, I'm not rude. Hold on. Tell Prince Hakeem I said hi, okay? The $30,000 I gave him last week, I guess, wasn't enough, but hopefully this will do it. And sent. Okay. Andrew Patella says, these goalposts must have some pretty sharp momentum because their location is undefined as fuck. Shinny Blackrose says the Air Force controls the space. It's how the Navy use control the Marines. Down the road it'll become more independent. I imagine there's a pretty strong connection, but they have their own, I think, like, chief of staff for the Space Force. Like, the entire point was to separate sort of the space-oriented stuff of the Air Force into its own branch. And yes, over time, I'm sure they'll become more and more independent. Happened with the Air Force as well.
But if you think of it...
Why is Space Force the thing? We have NASA. NASA is a civilian agency that focuses on science and, like, the development of space aeronautical technology. Again, they're civilian. Space Force is military. It's about military strategy, intelligence, and equipment maintenance for the military. It's a completely different thing.
From a strategic perspective, why would the Team Satan really...
Woo! Team Satan!
really, really want
Can we get some Satans in chat for Team Satan?
people in the U.S. Army to get vaccines. Why? Now, if you want to know my whole explanation, I go into detail about this in my other Peter's Perspective video that's all available on Rumble right now. In fact, all my uncensored opinions, especially what I think about the vaccine and why I think about the vaccine and the Army getting it, all that you can go to Rumble. It's
We're going to watch that video after this one.
available right now. Watch my videos there, completely uncensored. But what I can tell you here on YouTube is that there's a reason that Biden is making it mandatory for people in the U.S. Army to get vaccines. There's a
Because I guess 30% of them are really, really stupid.
reason for that. And there's pressure on Trump to make big moves now, or for the military to make big moves now, or for someone...
I think the biggest move Trump can make at this point would be with his bowels. I don't think he's very capable of doing anything.
On Team Trump or Team God or the good guys to make big moves. And it has to be in August, because if August comes and goes and...
Do I think Peter only gets the TV when his wife isn't watching it? Yeah, the TV keeps appearing and disappearing. I don't know why. I know why. It's because sometimes Peter is filming in a fake studio version of his house in Castle Rock. That's why. Altered Rin says, never before seen footage of Peter's goalposts. Is this a rocket car? This looks like the rocket car from The Simpsons. That's a rocket car. He's gonna get to his gold house very quickly. Does anyone get my Simpsons references? Those too old? I don't know.
September comes and goes, and then the Army gets fully vaccinated, that is not going to be the ideal scenario for Team Trump. Our military is needed, and I can go into more detail about why I think that September and these vaccines in the Army is, you know...
I missed Nick's bits. I apologize. I don't know what happened recently that, like, I'm skipping them and not seeing them as I scan the chat. Nick says, were the hell's Satans?
Not something that... I can't talk about it, really. I can't talk about it in detail. Go to my Rumble video. You can see it there. But what I can tell you is September is the line in the sand. We can't go past September. We can't get to October with no action from Trump. It just...
Peter, nothing is going to happen. We've been over this time and time again. Nothing is going to happen.
Strategically, it makes sense. Remember when I said something big has to happen this year or else it's over? And then Trump came out and said something big has to happen this year. I'm paraphrasing, but he said almost the same thing as I said, which is something has to happen this year. Now, it could be a lot of people at this rate are so fatigued by dates. They're like, oh, it's going to happen, something big at the end of the year. We can't wait till the end of the year. Something has to happen next month, in the next 33 days. Before this mandatory vaccine thing going out to the Army gets fully implemented, before it gets fully implemented, I'm not sure if it'll things will start in September and it'll take 3 months to finish, or they'll finish
Again, the thing he's talking about in terms of finishing...
vaccinating everyone in the Army by the end of September. But Team Trump has to act before that. So the good news is that, in theory, if I'm right, if my perspective is accurate, we'll see some exciting action from Team Trump soon. Yay! So excited. We'll see truth
That seemed very real and enthusiastic, Peter. You don't seem like you're losing hope at all.
bombs dropped and arrests happen and all these exciting things. And then Trump, our God Emperor, he will be... all these exciting things. And then Trump, our God Emperor...
I think he said the quiet part out loud. I think he forgot he's not posting on greatawakening.win. And he was talking to people. Princess Amelia says, spoilers, Peter was not right. Andrew Patella says, you know how the Jehovah's Witnesses have a Wikipedia page of failed Armageddon predictions? When do we get one for QAnon? The first Q post said that Hillary Clinton was going to be arrested in, like, 2017. She wasn't. Muddy says, that sure is something to hear when you first join the stream. Right? Barthog Moses says, missing the point of Warhammer 40k.
He will.
In fairness, he might not even know it's a reference to that. That's genuinely a thing. People in the QAnon conspiracy community, they called Trump that. And other really, like, fashy, far-right Donald Trump supporters also. Ironically, it's a joke, guys. Call him, God Emperor. Or Jotis, God Emperor of the United States.
Will be, you know, he'll be where we want him to be. That is what I'm excited about. I think there's a good chance, I mean, in theory, something should happen in August. Right now, I'm at like 50% chance. I think there's a 50% chance something will happen in August because something has to happen in August. And there's a 50%...
I know something will happen because if it doesn't, I'll look like an idiot. And Peter's never looked like an idiot before, so...
chance that if it doesn't happen in August, something has to happen in September, something big. But if nothing happens in August, September, I'm going to be a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie, because that is kind of the point of no return. Once this policy, this law, whatever it is, this bill, whatever it is that's making it vaccines mandatory for the Army, once that gets completed...
It wouldn't be a bill, Peter. It would be I don't even know if it would be considered an official executive order, because I don't know if he has to do an executive order to make mandates for the military. But Biden is the commander-in-chief of the military. He can make that call. It doesn't have to be, it's not a bill. Congress isn't involved. It's an executive matter.
That is the...
It frustrates me when Peter demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of how the United States government works, while also claiming things that would require intensive knowledge of how the United States government works. And I'm not pretending like I'm the biggest person like it. Like, if you gave me a civics quiz and, like, how does this work? I could answer, you know, basic questions about, you know, what are the branches of government? Why do we have a bicameral legislature? And what's the difference between the Senate and the House? Like, I could answer cursory general knowledge questions about how our government functions, but, like, Peter, how do you not understand that the military, the president is the commander-in-chief of the military? Like, it's frustrating. Daddy Sume with a link says, this terrifies me. And it's a link that says, terrifying Warhammer 40k God Emperor Trump dominates Italian parade. Oh, Italy. They love their fascists, don't they? Muddy says, oh, and also Biden is going to drop an uber gay bomb on the U.S. How's that going to work for me? I'm bi, and I'm trans. So is it going to just make me, like, super bi? Or is it going to turn me exclusively gay? Am I going to get double trans, or is it going to be a double negative? How is that going to work? Broodwitch says, Pete lives in a Whose Line Is It Anyway world. Everything is made up and the points don't matter. Ninetails Cosmic Fox says, the virus is making the vaccines mandatory. Humans not wanting to let it wipe us out is why we're doing that.
The point of no return for the world, actually. So, that's all I can say here. I want to explain everything in detail and tell you all, just go to my Rumble channel. There's videos on my Rumble that you guys haven't watched yet because I can't really advertise my Rumble that much on YouTube. But YouTube, I'll talk about what I can see. On Rumble, I'll talk about the stuff that I can't see on YouTube. But definitely check out the Rumble video that is available right now. And it's very important that you watch it. Critical. It's the most important video I've ever made in my entire life. It's available on Rumble right now. So please check it out. Critical video. I'm telling you, it's also the scariest video you'll probably ever see in your entire life. But it's important. It's important because it's scary. I'm talking about doomsday level. We've arrived at doomsday level. That's how scary the Rumble video is. Anyway, I've advertised that video enough. Please check it out on Rumble. The good news Trump has to act soon. We have to see action soon. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful. Even though I've been burned out by dates like you guys, I'm hopeful that August is going to be something exciting. Something has to happen. There's a good chance it will. It makes sense in theory. Strategically, it makes sense. I understood that it makes sense strategically for something big to happen this year, and Trump agreed with me. So I don't think it's that far-fetched to say something has to happen in August, some big actions. It's almost mandatory. Now, if the whole year goes by and we don't see any big action from Trump, the odds of Team God winning will have been reduced by a lot. Like,
it fascinates me that not even once does it appear to have crossed Peter's mind that if nothing happens by the end of the year, it might just mean that he was wrong, and that he was lied to, and that none of this is true. It can't be that. It's more tenable and palatable to him that the world is literally going to end and be controlled by satanic child murderers than him to just admit, oh, maybe I was wrong and I got scammed again. Occam's razor, Peter. Tucker White says, wait, it's a matter of life and death, then why is it a video about Critical? I don't get that. Andrew Patella says, Trump agreed with him. Tucker White says, also, sawed off Keir Thin, the bits lead is mine. Big Sweet Demon says, people like Peter really belie their fragility when they say things like, this info will blow your mind and give you a heart attack. The horrors will permanently scar you. And I'm thinking about the snuff film a girl showed me at a party when I was 15, like, oh wow, that's crazy. I know, right? I think a lot of us here have probably seen literal people die graphically on film. I don't think Peter making up conspiracy theories is gonna shock me. Muddy says, Peter believes something was that's wrong? No. Cotton Candy says, if God is supposed to be all-powerful, how can he lose? Mike Mack says, as a Christian, isn't that what he wants, aka the rapture? You'd think. Peter's spirituality is confusing to me. I'm really not sure, because he also believes in aliens and, like, fifth-dimensional beings, but he's also a Christian. I don't know. Pyromancer says, either we win and God is awesome, or we lose, get raptured, and end up in heaven anyway. It's a win-win.
over 50%. It's like the possibility of Trump saving the world goes down like this. Phew, if there's no big action by the end of the year, especially by the time this whole army program gets completed. So it's very, very important for Trump to act. So I'm excited for him to act. I'm very hopeful. And yeah, I'm looking forward to all these big things that are supposedly going to happen in August. And cross my fingers, who knows what's going to happen. I'm excited. I'm excited. Don't want to jinx it, but I'm excited. I hope you guys can be excited too. On that note, that's all I can tell you on this video. I definitely recommend you check out my Rumble video. And
Nick says, Peter's not wrong, 50% of 0 is 0. Andrew Patella says, no, the 5D thing makes perfect sense because you need an embedding space to fit a curved 4D space-time inside it.
And if you support me, I really appreciate donations right now. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo in the description below. You just click there, send me some money. $1, $2, nothing's too little. And
I swear to God, one of these days I'm just going to send Peter like $1,500 just because I think it's hilarious. The best prank is to give someone who hates you a bunch of money. Pulp Free Fiction says, I'm starting to get the feeling we're going to see the end result of Peter's delusion on the evening news one day. I really hope not, but I'm worried about his family. Me too.
Any little bit, a few dollars helps. If you have a little bit of money, I would appreciate it. I'm trying to build my everything back up. Right now, I'm investing everything back into the business. So you know your money will be well spent. So thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. And if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section. If you agree with me, let me know in the comment section. And if you see that you wrote a very good comment and I didn't like it or reply to it, that's because it's against community guidelines. I'm literally not allowed to like or reply to certain comments. So if you wrote a cool comment...
Thanks for the bits, Towing, but I'm not going to read that. CBC Mad says, subscribes for 4 months, says thanks for the great content. Thanks.
And I didn't reply. Don't take it personally. I'm probably just not allowed to reply to that comment. Yep. YouTube community guidelines says that there's certain comments that YouTube creators are not allowed to like or reply to. Yeah, I know. Surprising, isn't it? Anyway, hope this gives you guys a good update. Looking forward to sharing my Rumble video. Please check it out. Very important. This is a doomsday level. Billions of people are gonna die. Warning video. Needs to be checked out. Thank you for watching. Stay hopeful, guys. Good things are happening. As scary as it is right now, good things are happening. And so, trust the man. Enjoy the show. And God bless America.
I left a comment too 3 hours ago. It says, at what point do you admit you've been scammed by Trump, Lindell, and Q? Kirthan says I'll be taking that and becomes the stream boss. Are we gonna watch the Rumble video? You bet your sweet ass we are. Oh, wow, wait, wow. Sorry.
Billions of people are going to die.
Solid start.
Doomsday level. We're in the apocalypse. People need to understand that the vaccines, the COVID vaccines, are the deadliest weapon ever released on humanity.
Okay, first of all, YouTube disclaimer, none of what Peter is saying is true. This is medical misinformation. I disavow all of this. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. The vaccines are good. They're not going to hurt you. Please get vaccinated. For the love of God, get vaccinated. And yes, Peter, are you aware of nuclear weapons? That would be something to Google sometime if you're ever bored of the conspiracy theories. Mike Mack says, this is an Avengers level threat.
The COVID vaccines have already killed more people than any other weapon in all of human history. Did you?
That's objectively, and you could fact check this yourself, that's just completely untrue. Oh no, Peter is like completely out of it. No, they haven't.
Did you hear me correctly, people? The COVID-19 vaccine immune booster is a...
It's a vaccine, no air quotes.
...weapon that...
It's not. It's a vaccine. Go get the vaccine, please.
...that has already become the deadliest weapon in all of human history.
Peter, you're in a gun cult. You know guns exist.
It's going to kill billions of people. It's already killed over 100,000 people.
No, it has not. Where does Peter get these numbers? Other than his ass. There's no citation for this. He's just saying it. You think 100,000 people can die and no one's gonna notice? How stupid. Felix Night Owl says, can we finally conclude that he's just putting on a character at this point, like he's Alex Jonesing us? I don't think he is. I've had conversations with the guy. Nine Tails says Peter's just scared that he can't shoot the virus. Cotton Candy says he's gone so far off the deep end that he's tunneling through to the center of the earth.
This is going to depopulate Earth as it was designed to do.
It's not.
I know this is crazy, but people need to know. People need to know that the vaccine is a weapon designed to depopulate the Earth by 7 billion people. I said it. That's a fact.
Did you know that saying that's a fact after a statement does not de facto make the statement a fact? Fun fact. Fact. Tucker White says, I've never understood this post-apocalyptic mindset of so many conspiracy theorists. So the Illuminati, deep state, satanic cabal, vampire elites, or whatever the fuck want to rule over a wasteland? It doesn't make any sense. If you killed like 90% of the population, heck, if you killed 10 or 15% of the population, and they're like working age people, society like would collapse. Like you can't just remove the majority of people from the planet and expect society to continue to function. Like the buses are going to stop running, the trains are going to stop running, all deliveries that make our global system of markets function are going to collapse and not work anymore. Supply chains are done. The internet will go down. Communications will go down. Power will go down. Like, you cannot remove 9 out of 10 people on the planet or more and think that you're fine. Like, that would be it. That would be the end of the human race. Andrew Patella says, hey, the way Peter evaluates news sources, his ass might literally be a credible news source. Nick says, de facto, I see what you did there. Big Sweet Demon with 3,315 bits, thank you, says, sorry, Kirthan, I got paid today, with a link. I can't play this clip because Disney, but you get it. Muddy says, the sky is green, that's a fact. Mike Mack says, American Horror Stories Apocalypse has a better way to destroy humanity than what the so-called Illuminati has.
I'm going to lay all the details of my sources for these facts right now. My name is Peter Hanna. This is Peter's Political Perspective. Now, what I was saying in my previous Political Perspective, stumbled there a little bit, on YouTube, is that Trump needs to act in the next 33 days, because in September 1st, they're going to mandate these vaccines for the military. Then it's game over.
I hope so.
Because as these vaccines are designed to kill people over the next 3 years, if our...
Can you still see him fine if I full screen this, or is part of him cut off? Because my screen capture is a little cropped, and I want to make sure you can still see, like, his whole head. It's fine? Go.
Entire military gets killed off, or 99% of it gets killed off with these vaccines, because it's not going to be just one vaccine. One vaccine is not going to kill that many people. A booster shot, for sure.
He's just making shit up!
It's going to kill a lot of people.
Because he has no basis for any of the claims he's making. It's entirely based on, like, it's the logic of a 6-year-old sitting there thinking, like, I don't know, one thing couldn't do the bad, but maybe if we did a second thing it would do the bad. Like, he has no medical, technical, any basis for the claims he's making other than, I feel like the words that I am saying sound right to me. It's such a bizarre psychology to listen to this guy talk and recognize this is an adult who thinks like this. Tucker White says, you seriously left in that blown take? Peter, you clearly know how to edit videos. You have no excuse for the sloppiness.
Another shot, and they're going to keep on vaccinating people for the next 3 years until there's 500 million people left on Earth. This is a depopulation.
I like that within his internal bullshit logic, people will all of a sudden start getting wiped out to the tunes of hundreds of thousands and millions and then billions of people, and at no point would anyone recognize the purported reason within this internal fictional universe he's created. They're just gonna keep doing it. Peter's not okay.
Population weaponized program. Vaccines, especially the COVID vaccines, are weapons.
No, they're not. They are medicine to prevent you from getting ill if you are in contact with some sort of disease. They are a good thing. They're one of the greatest inventions in human history. Modern society would not exist without the advent of vaccines. And our educational system has failed us all. Mike Mack says, wouldn't it be easier to pray and ask God to kill Satan to prevent the apocalypse? You'd think so.
They're not medicine. They don't boost your immune system.
They literally are and do. It is medicine, and it does do that. It's the entire purpose.
They destroy your health. The fact is, I wrote 6 years ago that the Illuminati.
Sentient Dessert says even Washington vaccinated his troops against smallpox. Yeah, we read an article about that earlier. Muddy says, sure, Peter, they're weapons. Weapons against the virus. Yeah.
In a novel, I wrote that they were going to, around this time, they were going to release some type of bioweapon that wouldn't be a nuclear bomb, wouldn't be bullets. It was some type of bioweapon that would kill billions of people so they could depopulate the world by 500 million people. When I saw all these vaccines in this pandemic, I said, oh God, I hope I'm wrong, but that sounds a lot like the vaccines that are designed to kill billions of people. And then I was like, all right, let me go to people who are experts. And
Peter, I do not believe for a second that you know any experts that would have any sort of authority to discuss virology or vaccines with you.
and hopefully they'll disagree with me. I went to Mike Adams, who's owner of Natural News, and
Peter, he is not an expert. He's a grifter. He owns Natural News. He's an anti-vax piece of shit. I went to expert, naturopath, Mike fucking Adams. Oh my god, Peter is one of the stupidest people I've ever covered. Nick says, I literally just laughed like Kefka at the experts line. Mike Mack says, even Thanos had a better plan than this. And Muddy says, these experts include a dead cockroach, a piece of cheese that has some holes, which kind of look like Jesus.
Cola.
Let's look at Natural News right now to show you the caliber of expert we're talking about. Natural News. Let's see. Anti-vax stuff. There's Steve Bannon on the front page. Again, anti-vax bullshit, anti-vax bullshit, anti-vax bullshit, anti-vax bullshit, anti-vax bullshit. They're a Natural News site. This is about Trump dossier author Christopher Steele involved in a group seeking to clamp down on citizens with authoritarian COVID restrictions. No political slant on this website, only objective news. Masks and vaccine. COVID bullshit. Again, this is the person that Peter thinks is an expert, the guy who owns this. Peter is a dummy.
These are the people with the top 2 biggest natural health information websites on the internet.
Yeah, that's your problem, isn't it? Alexander O.V. says, for the laughs, and another commenter's FF6 reference, Kefka, the greatest Final Fantasy villain. Final Fantasy. Tucker White says, also, if the vaccines are a means of depopulation, the Illuminati are using them on the people most likely to serve them. Thus, the remaining peasants and serfs for lords to exploit are the small percentage of loudmouths who are most skeptical of the deep state. Wait, I feel like we missed a step. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense internally.
Mercola and Natural News are the biggest natural health websites on the internet. What are they both saying? They're saying the same thing Majestic 12 is saying, which...
For those who are new here because of the raid, Majestic 12 is a fictional organization, but Peter believes it's real. It is basically the Men in Black, except they're all aliens. Peter believes that aliens who monitor the Earth and help Donald Trump are communicating with him and others via the website Telegram. I don't know what to add to that. He's citing what he believes to be our aliens. Magnetar707, thanks for 15 months, says thanks for the 15 months of wonderful content. Thanks for watching.
Which means billions of people are going to die. These vaccines are designed...
Oh yeah, Peter thinks he's been abducted like 5 times, too. And that they stole his cum and made a star baby.
...to kill billions of people. And not only that, they've all confirmed and all agree that in the next 3 years, That's how much it's gonna take, how much time it's gonna take to start people to start dying like flies. Like, so what's happening is you're seeing the deaths, right? 45,000 COVID deaths, right? But what you're not being told is that, for example, the COVID death reporting system in Europe, of the 50 European countries, 27 of those European countries are not included in the death toll or in the injury report for Europe. In other words,
Okay, I imagine you could find that data separately, or those countries aren't tracking their data on that. Complications from the vaccines are virtually non-existent. In fact, I think I saw an interesting vaccine infographic. This is going to be hard to find just because I'm sure there's so many. Andrew Patella says, also the barbecue alien with a hot girlfriend. I do remember that. Vaccine infographic. I'm not seeing it off the top, but it was an interesting infographic that showed, like, compared to the number of people vaccinated and the number of alleged complications due to the vaccine, the whole square was, like, the people who've been vaccinated, and then, like, this tiny square at the bottom, and then zoomed in. It's, like, the number of things. It's, like, less than 1%. It's crazy. It's, like, 0.00001%. Andrew Patella says, also the barbecue alien with the hot girlfriend. Yes. Killjoy says, Peter, there's only 44 countries in Europe. Muddy says, when I used my dream-altering demon powers to make people believe in aliens in Majestic 12, I didn't expect it to turn out like this. I just wanted more people to summon and make deals with me. You fucked up, demon. Shame on you.
in other words, more than half of the deaths that are happening from COVID vaccines or injuries from COVID vaccines in Europe are not being reported.
Peter, this is not a thing that's happening. Like, at all. So chill. Chill. Take a deep breath and recognize that you are being hyped up and being fed fear by grifters who are lying to you. You are being lied to, Peter. Remember how that guy scammed you out of $60,000? This is the same thing. You're being scammed again. And you're not seeing it. Please, Peter, recognize that you're an incredibly gullible guy. That in and of itself does not make you a bad guy. But unfortunately, when people can convince you of absurdities, they can convince you to commit atrocities. I forget who said that. That's a quote from someone. If they can convince you that a satanic cabal of evil child blood drinking Democrats are controlling the world, then they can convince you to go out and kill or advocate for the murder of those people who in fact are innocent, at least of the things you're accusing them of. This is how the Nazis rose to power. A lot of it, although it's a very complicated situation, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to funnel down the origin of the Nazi Party to one specific thing. It's a myriad of factors. But one of the ways that Nazis helped spread their ideology and gain the consent of a decent number of the population was by spreading conspiracy theories about people they didn't like. Jewish people, people from surrounding countries, Romani peoples, etc., etc. You get it. Pulp Free Fiction says, if as many people were dying as he said, it would be absolutely impossible to hide it, even if the mainstream media was in on it. How does he not realize this? I know, he's an idiot.
And then you have the U.S. reporting vaccine something thing. I think it's called the VAERS system. But doctors are saying...
Alexander OV says, 60,000, worth noting it's been between 10 and 70 in various videos. Same with his wrist. He told that story, but it used to be an extreme back pain with no mention of a wrist injury. When he emailed me, he said 60,000, so that's the number I'm going with. Peter's a liar, so, you know, anything he says, take it with a grain of salt. And I mean that genuinely. Peter tries to manipulate people, he's just really shitty at it. Which is why most of his audience are people who watch me or Jake or Surus or anyone else who's covered him, and they make fun of him. But Peter fancies himself a manipulator. He just really, really sucks at it.
They've tried multiple times to report a whole bunch of COVID jab deaths, and they're not accepted. So this is by design. They're like, oh, only 45,000 people have died from COVID jabs.
That it's way fewer than that. 45,000 people have not died from that. I don't even know where he's getting that number.
Worldwide. The real number is anywhere between 50,000.
Let's look at actual statistical numbers. If there even is data on this. Worldwide. Selected adverse effects reported after COVID-19 vaccination. Trying to see if they even have, like, numbers on this. Reports of death after COVID-19 vaccinations are rare. More than 342 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines were administered in the United States from December 14th, 2020 through July 26th, 2021. During this time, VAERS received 6,340 reports of death. And again, this VAERS is basically, they keep track of anytime anything happens in the weeks after someone gets the vaccine, you report it to them, and then they look into it. So that's 0.0019% amongst people who received the COVID-19 vaccine. FDA requires healthcare providers to report any death after COVID-19 vaccine to VAERS, even if it's unclear whether the vaccine was the cause. Reports of adverse effects or events to VAERS following vaccination, including deaths, do not necessarily mean that a vaccine caused the health problem. So basically, let's say you're like a 90-year-old and you got the COVID vaccine a couple of weeks ago, and then you come in and you die because you're old, or you get some other disease, or something else happens, they are required to still report that because, you know, in science and in medical science, you want to get all the data you can. That way, if you find any correlations, you can investigate them. And that's fine. But even if you took this at face value and said, like, every single one of these reports of someone dying after getting their COVID shots, it would still be 0.0019% of the total number of people in the United States who've gotten the vaccine. Like, Peter, stop pulling numbers out of your asshole, or Mike Lindell's asshole, or whoever's asshole you're exploring this week. Muddy says, I feel like a drunk baby could lie better than him. And Andrew Batella says, is that the thing where you report every single thing that happens after the vax, even if it's a murder or something? Yes. Like, you could choke to death the day after you got the vaccine, and they'd still have to report it to that system. That's the whole point. They want to be very, very thorough, because that's their job. They're the CDC.
To 300,000, and that's just now.
Again, he's pulling numbers out of his ass, which is so funny that he's so concerned about this alleged and fictional 300,000 that he's claiming. Probably his sources, again, the space aliens he thinks talk to him on a website full of furries. But COVID deaths are double that in the United States, and he doesn't give a shit about that. So, what's up, Peter? What's up?
Because these vaccines are designed to kill people in the next 3 years, but slow enough that they still have time to make sure most of the world gets vaccinated before people start dropping dead like flies. So
furries are good people. I agree. I got nothing against furries. A lot of my chat's furries. Right on, furries. Ooh woo, or whatever.
What's going to happen? If Trump does nothing, the vaccines are going to come out. They're going to be mandatory for the military starting September 1st. Maybe it will take a month or two, and all the military will be vaccinated. And then, over 3 years, almost all of them will die.
Incorrect. Incorrect, Peter. They'll be fine. In fact, they'll be more than fine. They'll be inoculated against the global pandemic we've been suffering through since March of last year.
Then China becomes the country with the biggest army in the world.
Peter, you dumb asshole. People in China are also getting the vaccines. Do you think China isn't mandating? Fucking China, an authoritarian state that literally, like, forced people into their homes during COVID, and if they left, they'd be arrested in some places. You think that government isn't mandating vaccinations for their army? I'm getting so frustrated with Peter recently just because the aggressiveness of his stupidity is really getting to me. Like, he's not just stupid, he is aggressively dumb. And he's so confident in his stupidity. Krisia says China already has the largest military. Yeah, they got a lot of people.
Over 2 million soldiers in the Chinese army. Now they have the biggest army. Now they can take over the United States.
Peter, a land war in the United States would be untenable. I'm talking Russia in the winter untenable. Anyone who tried to land invade the United States, it would be a really, really bad idea. Red Dawn was not a documentary. The United States is huge. It has a crazy different number of, like, biomes. It has natural points where it would be difficult to get across, like the Rocky Mountains and stuff like that. Like, the United States is not a good place to invade, especially considering a large number of the population owns firearms. I'm not against the ownership of firearms necessarily, as long as you're a responsible gun owner. Unfortunately, the loudest gun owners appear to be the least responsible with their firearms. But nonetheless, United States is full of guns. Bad idea to invade the United States, both topographically and because of the makeup of the citizenry.
They can rule the world, global dominance, put in the New World Order, whatever they want. This is attack on our military. This is attack on the world population. But the thing is, if a billion people die from the COVID vaccine, Trump can still win, Team Trump can still win, the United States can still save everyone. But if they wipe out our entire military with these vaccines, which is what their plan is for...
No, it's not. Muddy says his brain is so wacky he's immediately immune to the very real mind-reading powers, which is probably a good thing. Mike Mack says, you've fallen for one of the two classic blunders. First being never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly lesser known, never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line. I love Princess Bride. That hurt my throat. Okay, hold on. Kirthan says, if an intellect devourer was trapped in a room with Peter, it would starve. I'm just curious what the vaccination rate in China is right now. Let me see. Number of doses in millions. Oh yeah. They have administered a fuck ton. Again, so like Peter. Yeah, they've administered over 1 billion doses in China. Of course, because the Chinese population is huge. Peter, if what you're saying is true, it would affect every country on the planet, because every country on the planet is pushing the vaccine, because as it turns out, it's not very good for your customers. It's not very good for your country or your consumer base if a large portion of your population dies. Surprise. Andrew Patella says, now I'm thinking that we don't know for sure that Peter isn't his own grandpa. Daddy Sume says, yeah, but Hannah, they have the real vaccine. Muddy says, you defeat demons like me with people like Peter. Just get 12 idiots in a circle to start talking and my kind will start running. Now I got that song stuck in my head. Now many, many years ago when I was 23, I was married to a widow who was pretty as could be. This widow had a grown-up daughter who had hair of red. My father fell in love with her and soon they two were wed. My father had a... wait. And then they had a daughter, which then changed my very life, for my daughter was my mother, for she was my father's wife. To complicate the matters, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. Now this became the father-in-law to Dad. Every time I think of it, it really makes me sad. Something. It's a song. I'm my own grandpa. Have you not heard that song? No? Okay, never mind. It's a novelty song about a complicated series of interfamiliar and intrafamiliar relationships that lead to someone being their own grandfather. It's in the Stupids, but that song predates the Stupids. But that is where I know it from.
For September 1st, then it's game over. Maybe the Space Force has enough technology to save the world with that.
They don't.
But from my understanding, if the U.S. military gets wiped out with these vaccines, it's game over.
Game over, man! Game over!
We have no big army to fight around the world. And Trump knows this. So that's why he has to act next month in August. He has to. If he waits for everyone to be vaccinated, the army will be dead, and then how is he going to fight all these people? How are we going to be the policemen of the world?
Peter considers Team America World Police to be aspirational, I see.
So, guys, this is serious.
The Stupids, I'm my own grandpa. Yeah, I'll take the time to edit this out of YouTube. That's how much this is nostalgic for me. Yeah, Trump took the vaccine, so Trump would also be dead if what he was saying was true.
Okay, let's settle everybody. We're on in 5, 4, 3.
Honestly, the quality of this is bad enough that I don't think it's actually going to get dinged by YouTube. Doesn't look like it was. This movie ruined Tom Arnold's career and some other people's, honestly. It's a terrible movie. There are no other musical moments in this movie. This is the one scene where there's a song for some reason.
With her and
I feel like I need to clarify that, because this might just be, you might see this and be like, oh, it's like a musical with Tom Arnold. No, this is not a musical. This is just the musical number that's in the movie, and it appears to be diegetic. Like this is happening within the logic of the movie, within the universe of the movie. He is actually singing this song. The audience reacts to him singing.
soon they two were wed. This made my dad my son-in-law and changed my very life. For my daughter was my mother, 'cause she was my father's wife. To complicate the matter, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. My little baby then became a brother-in-law to dad, and so became my uncle, though it made me very sad. For if he was my uncle, then that also made him brother to the widow's grown-up daughter, who of course was my stepmother.
This is very serious. If the general consensus among Majestic 12, Mike Adams, Dr. Mercola, these most trustworthy health experts in the world, most knowledgeable health experts in the world, are saying...
Wait, did you just claim that the guy behind Natural News is one of the most... Hold on, I gotta go back.
Dr. Mercola, these most trustworthy health experts in the world, the army will be dead, and then how is he going to fight all these people? How are we going to be the policemen of the world? So, guys, this is serious. This is very serious. If the general consensus among Majestic 12, Mike Adams, Dr. Mercola...
Again, the list is space aliens that I think are working with Trump, the founder of Natural News, a quack alt-health website that's always bullshit, and I don't even recognize the third name. These are his citations for this.
These most trustworthy health experts in the world...
If your citation list includes interdimensional aliens, stop.
Most knowledgeable health experts in the world are saying, guys, these vaccines are weapons.
He's an HIV denier. Lovely. Strumpoli for Wi-Fi says, I just sent my wife down the Caitlin Bennett rabbit hole. She asked me who the fuck this girl was toting an AK at a college campus, and I bounced like a giddy schoolgirl. Did you reveal the poop yet? Did you show her the poop?
It's designed to depopulate people. They're going to kill billions of people, and over the next 3 years, we're going to see hundreds of millions to billions of deaths from these vaccines.
No. Not going to happen. Get vaccinated, Peter. Get your kids vaccinated. Get your wife vaccinated. Andrew Patella says, most knowledgeable health experts in the 5D universe, he means.
Guess what, guys? This isn't a conspiracy theory.
No, it is. I'm pretty adept at knowing that since I cover them every Tuesday on Tinfoil Tuesday right here on this channel. Plug. Follow and subscribe. No, seriously though, it's a conspiracy theory, Peter.
And you're gonna see that the push to get, knocking on doors, making sure everyone gets vaccines and get vaccinated, the push for this, why it's so aggressive, is they want to make sure as many people get vaccines.
Because they don't want people to get diseases, because that's bad for your country. Alexander OV says Ricola, the cough drop guy, also boycott Ricola. Why? Daddy Sume says I desperately want to meet his wife just to see what she's like. I don't. I feel bad for her. His marriage was like an arranged marriage, where, according to Peter, when we had an interview once, he said, like, his wife's dad called him and was like, do you want to marry such and such? And Peter was like, yeah. Like, I don't know how much say she had in this marriage, to be honest. Hydrate.
As possible, so that by the time there's like hundreds of thousands of deaths every month, or even millions of deaths every month, by that time it'll be too late. People can't be like, oh, I don't want to get the vaccine. It'll be too late because they already got the vaccines, and they're like, oh gosh, I'm gonna die too. So at some point it'll be like 10 million or 100 million or even 1 billion deaths.
No, it won't.
In a single month. It's gonna ramp.
In a month. Wow. 1 billion deaths in a month would literally be a situation where, like, you would smell the corpse rot in the air almost everywhere there's human civilization. Like... It's not how things work, Peter. Alexander OV says the cough drop guy is an anti-vax conspiracy theorist who supported craziness. That's Peter's third source. Oh... Honestly, selling cough drops and being anti-vax just seems like a business decision. You know what I mean? Like, I need people to get sick if I want them to buy cough drops. I better promote anti-vax bullshit.
Ramp up real quickly. But before we hit the point where it's millions or even 1 billion deaths in 1 month, before we hit that point, I hope it's not 1 billion deaths in a month, but things are serious. It's probably going to be like some months where there's hundreds of millions of people who die from the COVID jabs. But the point is...
Nope. Mike Mack says, okay, let me get this straight. The Illuminati realize a new disease to kill people, which is doing its job, but now they need a vaccine to finish the job, right? Doesn't make sense.
Guys, listen to it. It's a COVID shot. Psh, shot. Psh.
Peter... Are you aware of the concept of homonyms? Is that the word? Is homonym the word I'm thinking of? There are words that are spelled the same and sound the same. However, they have different meanings. Okay? Cool.
It's a COVID jab. Jab, jab, jab.
Yeah, when as we all know, the English language, all of our words come from the Central Language Authority, where they descend from on high and decide what to call things, and then if you don't call things the thing, then you go to jail, which is why all of language is very unnatural and doesn't happen, just on its own. Everything is a conspiracy, don't forget. Daddy Sume says, to give perspective, 55 million people died in 2015. Big Sweet Demon says, I hope a ton of people don't die, but I hope I'm right. Toeen says, Hall of Shame. Maybe. I think Peter's done worse, honestly. E-Tune says, Peeber, please!
Jab, shot, psh, jab. You have Bill Gates, who literally went on a TED Talk and said...
Oh, he's gonna say the thing, because he's an idiot. Here we go. It's the greatest hits of conspiracy theorists not understanding basic concepts, even when it's been explained to them.
That the biggest problem in the world is too much people on Earth. But if we do a good job with vaccines, we can solve that problem.
Yes, Peter. When you introduce vaccinations to an undeveloped nation or a nation that doesn't have vaccines. The birth rate goes down. You're not killing extra people, quite the opposite. You're saving people's lives, and because you have a lower infant mortality rate, people don't feel the need to have as many children, which lowers or stabilizes the population. We've seen this in the United States, for instance. Birth rates used to be much higher, but with the advent of vaccines and modern medicine, birth rates have gone down because you didn't need to have 12 kids just so 3 of them could survive.
And then Bill Gates says, go get your COVID jab, go get your COVID jab. Guys, they're literally telling you it's a jab on your immune system. It's a...
I know English is Peter's second language, but he can't be this fucking dumb. This is so stupid. H. Baird says, to be fair, the plot to Rainbow Six was that group of environmentalists were going to spread a disease, as well as a vaccine that also kills you to thin out the human population. So this conspiracy theory is basically a Tom Clancy plot from the period after he ran out of ideas.
A shot to your immune system, bang, bang. And Bill Gates admitted that he's going to be using this to
second language, that's a stretch.
Populate the world.
No, Peter's good at speaking English, considering he was raised in, like... Oh god, where did he say he was raised? It was, like, Panama? I don't remember. It was somewhere in either Central or South America. I don't remember. Was it Panama? Okay. I thought so. Yeah, Peter, was raised as a young guy in Panama, and then he came to the United States. His parents, I think, spoke English, so he probably learned them at the same time, but I assume he mostly spoke whatever language is spoken in Panama.
He literally said vaccines, if they do a good job, will reduce the population of Earth. I don't know how people can be so asleep.
It's English? Okay, well then I don't even know. I don't know what his problem is then.
Well, Trump said it was safe. He had to for optics. But
Peter, Trump got the vaccine and so did his family. Because even though they're fine with grifting you and lying to you, like, they want to live. So, get the vaccine.
Don't get the vaccines. If you're young and you survive it, good for you, but you're probably infertile now.
Bonus!
If you don't survive it, think of all the damage that's going to be caused to the fact that you die and how negative effect it has on all these people around you. COVID vaccines are experimental. For example,
they've been approved by the FDA for emergency use, and they're currently undergoing the process of getting normal approval. So they've already been approved for emergency use, which is good because they're desperately needed. And now they're also going through the process of getting normal, non-emergency approval, which they're going to. And then what is Peter and them going to say once it goes through regular FDA approval and gets approved? And they're like, yep, we checked again. Still good. They're going to shift to the narrative again, and they'll be like, well, of course they have to say that now. They already approved it. They would look like idiots. Like, no, it was just fine the first time.
There was one of the studies done on one of the COVID vaccines, I'm not sure which one, where they did an animal study to test the safety level. And they tested the COVID jabs on ferrets. All the ferrets in that scientific study died, and they closed the study. Guess what that means? COVID shots are very successful, and they do...
I don't know what he's referencing. I don't know if that study even happened. But I have good news, Peter. If it did happen, human beings are not ferrets. So that's good. Big Sweet Demon says, congrats on the jab, sheep. Now you're infertile.
Fuck yeah! Cheers, bro!
Exactly what they were designed to do. Kill.
Baja says it means that lab animals are euthanized when the studies conclude. No, he's not. You don't think he's doing that, does he? He's not misinterpreting it that poorly, is he? He can't be that stupid. Because even I know that. In fairness, it helps that, I'm dating Baja, who works in a lab with animals. So, I know that. But, there's no way he looked at the animals being dead because they kill the animals after, they're done with the experiment and said, haha! Daddy Sume has a link. Here we go. COVID-19 vaccine did not kill every animal it was tested on. Apparently this was a claim Alex Jones made or something. Nick says dogs can't eat chocolate, Peter. Muddy says, well, of course all humans will be dead by the time they check it again. What's my source? Stop asking so many questions. Okay, what was claimed? All animals used in COVID-19 vaccine trials died months later from immune disorders, sepsis, and/or cardiac failure. The verdict, there's no evidence for this. The claim is based on a 2012 study looking at different vaccines. The animals, in this case mice, were euthanized as is standard procedure in the sort of trial. They did not die months later as claimed. There you go. Once again, Peter's just repeating things he's heard other grifters say. He's repeating things that, like, Alex Jones has said, as if they're reliable sources. Mike Mack says, so how's he going to explain people who took the vaccine have kids then? I don't know. I really don't. I would imagine the narrative will shift to something along the lines of, like, let's say 5 years from now. You know, plenty of people who have been vaccinated will have kids, you know, as happens, circle of life and all that. I imagine the conspiracy theorists will say, okay, it didn't make you infertile, but it genetically altered your children, or some crazy bullshit. It's going to be absolute insanity, no matter what it is. That's how conspiracies work. Andrew Patella says, did you know that 100% of the people that were inoculated with the original cowpox vaccine are now dead? Conspiracy.
They threw that study under the bus, and then why didn't you show it to anyone? Of course not. I mean, the vaccine industry is the only industry on planet Earth that cannot be sued.
That's 100% untrue.
Wrap your brain around that for a second. They cannot be held accountable. What happens when organizations can't be held accountable? What happens if a government entity isn't held accountable and
you get Donald Trump?
They don't need to cut budget. They don't need to worry about budgeting. They can just do whatever they want. No one's going to fire them. Too much power, too much greed. It gets out of control, gets very inefficient.
Too much power is bad. That's why I want God Emperor Trump to be reinstated via military coup, so we can stop all these crazy doctors with too much power.
Very wasteful, totally corrupt. That's what happened in the vaccine industry. Too much power, way too corrupt, no accountability, no policeman saying, hey, your vaccines are fake, your vaccines are harming people. No.
A policeman would not have the qualifications to make that assertion. They're a cop. They're only qualified to harass minorities and plant drugs on people. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, speaking as someone who makes flu vaccines for a living, we spend millions of dollars in quality control every year, or not, to not get sued. Peter, you idiot. Knick-knack, Nonak, thank you for subscribing.
No one doing that. No one making sure these vaccines are safe.
They can't be sued because of the emergency use order, or the basically the emergency approval. Once it's approved, they can be sued as normal. There you go.
So, look, I didn't want to make this video, but it would be immoral for me not to make this video. Before you say, oh, you're making money off this video, it's just fear porn. I actually, on Rumble, I'll make a penny on this video? This is not fear porn.
No, but you ask people for donations. I don't know how many of your crazy followers give you money. Fewer than my crazy followers give me their money, though. What was the point I was trying to make? No, Peter, you do make money, though, because you solicit donations.
To make money. This is me genuinely concerned that billions of people are going to die from these vaccines. And
your concern is misplaced. Good news. None of what you've said is true. Go about your day. You're fine.
And that Trump needs to act soon, because if not, our military will be wiped out by these vaccines. 3 years.
Genuinely, I'm curious when that does happen. I'm sure there will be a mandatory vaccine thing for the military. Maybe someone will try and sue and it'll go to the courts, but eventually that'll happen and they'll mandate the COVID vaccine for the military, and that'll happen, and then within some months of that, I assume there'll be some reports like, okay, the military's at 100% or close to 100%. Vaccine. Is Peter just gonna snap? What is Peter gonna do? Like, his excuses are getting fewer and further between in terms of their ability to... How do I... He's painting himself into a corner here. Right? Which is a little scary for his family. Pulp Free Fiction says, oh, crazy followers. She's talking about us, everyone. Chicken Side Eye says, just another crazy follower giving Hannah money. Bardlock Moses says, how many Rumble videos is this? I think that's the entire front page of Rumble. $2? Oh boy. That could run Rumble for about 100 years. eTune says, if cute anti-vax people start claiming that taking the COVID vaccine caused a change in people's DNA to increase autism rates, I'm gonna go Minecraft myself. Oh, that's absolutely what they're gonna say. Good call. Daddy Sume says, shut up and take my money. Fella Dude Man says, ahem, and gives me bits. Muddy says, money for my favorite lizard person. Strumbly for Wi-Fi says, Hannah, have you ever heard of GMP practices? It's what we use to keep data records for lab and manufacturing documentation. It's a bit dry, but understanding and communicating it might help people realize how hard it is to fake FDA approved data. I don't think it would matter for Peter one lick. I agree with you. And, like, even though I recognize that, you know, anything run by humans is fallible, I recognize that I'm sure organizations like the CDC and most labs, you know, are pretty impeccable with that kind of stuff. I mean, that stuff's important, especially when you're dealing with medicine. I believe that, but I also have trust in certain institutions. That doesn't mean blind trust, but I think it's logical and reasonable to say this is an organization who's literally tasked with the safety and the health of the nation in regard to diseases. They're going to do their best to do things safely. It's in their own best interest to do so. Paladin Lost, thanks for gifting a sub.
2 billion deaths, at least, from the COVID vaccines. And from my understanding, between 4 to 6 years, there could be billions and billions of deaths. If the cabal's plan goes according to plan, in the next 6 years,
There is no cabal.
over 7 billion, specifically 7.3 billion people will die.
Daddy Sume says, have you ever tried going mad without power? It's no fun. No one listens to you. Oh, shoot. Don't tell me. Where's that from? You've gone mad with power. Have you tried going mad without power? Nobody listens to you. What is that from? Alright, tell me, because that's so familiar.
From COVID jabs.
It's not Futurama, is it?
This is serious, people. We've arrived at the apocalypse. We've arrived at the doomsday. The COVID vaccine is the deadliest weapon ever released on humanity.
Oh, it's The Simpsons? Wait, was that the Scorpio guy? No, Simpsons movie. The head of the EPA. Gotcha. Peter, are you familiar with the concept of the atomic bomb? Just curious, because like that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. Merce Patty says, as a drug research nurse, this is just infuriating to listen to. Oh, I'm sure. Baha, who's my girlfriend, who's a fifth-year PhD candidate in developmental genetics. I mean, you know, she doesn't study, like, disease in that way, but she has enough, like, base knowledge of how science is done and how labs operate and how a lot of the inner workings of, like, you know, this kind of stuff works. She understands how the mRNA vaccine works and stuff and is able to explain it very well. Like, yeah, it pisses her off too. H. Baird says, 100 years from now, over 7 billion people will have died and there's nothing anyone can do about it. True.
Period. Because the bombing in Hiroshima...
Oh, he's actually going to reference this. Oh, no. I'm sure he'll handle this tactfully, as he always does. Muddy says, okay, hear me out. Atomic bomb with a whole bunch of COVID vaccines inside it. I'd like to hear more.
Nuclear bomb that killed around 100,000 people. The COVID jabs already killed over 100,000 people.
No, they have not, Peter. No, they have not. Natural news is not a reliable source. They are lying to you. You are being lied to, Peter. Baha, thanks for subscribing with Prime.
People. And it's going to kill billions. So it's already the deadliest weapon ever released on humanity. And it's going to make all other weapons seem like nothing. Now, I predicted this years ago. They were going to depopulate people with a bioweapon because they've been the deep state.
He predicted this in his self-published novel, which from what I've read is terrible. We gotta check that out sometime.
Telegraphs their moves all the time when Bill Gates says, we're going to use vaccines to reduce world population. They told us exactly what they're going to do.
Again, Peter, that doesn't make any sense. I already explained this to you, what Bill Gates said there and what he meant. But the fact that you think, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Let's say Bill Gates was an evil supervillain who genuinely intended to, like, poison people with medicine. Not the case. Not the case at all. But let's imagine for a second in a fictional universe that's the case. You think he's smart enough to pull that off. But then he gets on stage at a TED Talk and literally says he's going to murder billions of people? Peter, most people aren't as stupid as you, believe it or not. People don't do that, especially evil people. Evil people are actually pretty good at lying. You know, like Donald Trump. I wouldn't even say he's good at lying, he just, like, repeats a lie a lot. But you get what I'm saying. Nick says, careful he doesn't DMCA you if you cover his novel. Oh, I know. I wouldn't cover it in its totality. I would take excerpts that I highlighted and comment upon them, which is fair use. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, what's your next book read with Jake? Can it be Peter? We still got to continue with our Jordan Peterson 12 More Rules for Life one. Can we play Stardew after stream? I have to walk, but then yes. Andrew Batella says, are you planning to depopulate the world? You have to tell me if you're planning to depopulate the world. Yep, it's like cops. They have to tell you. That's not true. The cops are allowed to lie to you.
You know, when Fauci says there's going to be a big pandemic in a few months and Trump won't be able to do well, and then the pandemic happens, Fauci knew there was going to be a pandemic.
Yes, because back in, like, December of 2019, we already had reports of this from other places in the world. It didn't just suddenly appear out of nowhere in March of 2020, Peter. That's just when it started to spread in the United States. Intelligence reports, which include threats like this, included this information for months and months leading up to March 2020, when it really hit the United States for the first time. And Fauci, being what his position is, I'm sure was clued into all of that. I'm sure he knew about this stuff before most people in the government.
Because he's part of the creating the pandemic. So things are serious.
It's so weird how much they hate Fauci, considering I always pronounce his name weird. I'm sorry, I just can't do it correctly. Fauci. Am I doing it correctly? Anyway, he was appointed by Reagan.
I would advise you, I know vaccine is a taboo topic, but get out there, be brave, stand up, say no, vaccines are bad, they're dangerous for these reasons. The ferrets were all died in the COVID.
The ferrets were all died in the COVID.
Animal study for these COVID things. These are experimental vaccines. They don't have FDA approval.
They do. They have emergency FDA approval, Peter, and they're currently almost done with the process of getting regular approval. Big Sweet Demon says, Peter can't understand how they might have information ready on a potential pandemic before it arrives, yet Project Looking Glass makes so much sense. Quantum computers, Hannah. Zathura6, thanks for 3 months. Appreciate it. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, some celebrities claim they got COVID in summer 2019, like Killer Mike. Damn celebrities always having to get this shit before it's cool. That wouldn't surprise me, considering they're probably more likely to do regular international travel, so.
These are not safe. Tell people that these COVID vaccines, this COVID shot has already killed
No.
More.
No.
These COVID shots have killed more people than all other vaccines combined.
Peter, almost no one dies from vaccines. Almost no one dies from vaccines. If you die from a vaccine, you probably have an allergy to something in it, or some very, very rare, strange complication. It's just not something that happens in the vast majority of cases. Again, you're also making unsourced claims that are ludicrous.
And it's killed more people than the deadliest weapon ever to be used on humanity, a nuclear bomb. Think about that. The COVID shots are the most...
Muddy says, on a serious note, I hate stuff like this. One of my best friends and her father got infected by 2 different strains of COVID within 2 or 3 months of each other, so it's such a yikes that beliefs like this are so common. I know. The best I can do is I'm vaccinated, and whenever they approve doing like a booster or something, I'm going to do that. I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to make sure that the people around me that I care about are protected in the same way. And maybe Darwinism will do the rest. I don't know. I can't convince idiots not to be stupid. The best I can do is communicate the reality as far as I understand it. Try and convince other people to protect themselves and their loved ones. And hope for the best. At least for people who aren't willfully ignorant. Andrew Batella says, hear me out. Most vaccines don't usually kill people. It's perfectly plausible that the COVID vaccines might kill more than any by a slim margin, I guess. But again, we're talking about numbers so low it wouldn't matter.
dangerous and lethal vaccine in history. And they've done more damage. They've killed more people than the nuclear bomb that was dropped in Hiroshima.
No.
The COVID vaccine is seriously dangerous, guys.
No, it's not. It's safe. Go get it. I've gotten it. Baja got it. Jake got it. Sarah got it. Randy got it. Alex got it. Anna got it. Everyone I know got it. My grandparents got it. Everyone got it, Peter. We're all fine. We're all more than fine. Because unlike you, if we come in contact with COVID, we're probably fine. Prime038 says, hey now, ferrets are pets, and are the 3rd most common mammal pet. My ferret is the cutest baby ever. His name is Roscoe. That is a cute ferret. I heard they stink, though. Daddy Sume says, you didn't include me in that list, Hannah. Yeah, I was listing people I care about. Why am I so mean to you? I don't know. Alexander Hovey says, it's so frustrating. My city ward councilwoman has been spewing anti-vax nonsense in meetings. Our mayor was on Meet the Press to discuss the COVID cases here. Springfield. Ugh.
If the COVID vaccine has already killed more people than the bomb that was dropped on Japan, and it's going to kill billions of people, and it's already the...
I wonder what Peter's opinion on the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are. I bet they're real yikes. Daddy Sume says, I'm going to need some skin grafts for that burn.
Deadliest vaccine ever released. Alarm bells, alarm bells, alarm bells should be ringing in your head. Guys, this is serious. This is serious. I'm very concerned. Please take this video seriously. Share it with many people as possible. Wake people up. Tell people of the facts. It's the deadliest vaccine ever. It's already killed more people than the nuclear bomb that was dropped in Japan.
No. Muddy says Daddy is fucking dead.
They're not reporting the deaths accurately.
Wrong.
The animal studies, they killed all the animals.
They kill the animals at the end of every study, Peter. They're lab animals.
These are experimental. The people who are pushing it, the elite, want the world to be depopulated. How many pieces of evidence does there need to be before...
Starting with one actual piece of evidence would be great. Could you bring me one?
Where you're like, guys, of course this is for killing us. Majestic 12 says it's for killing people.
The aliens that communicate with me on the internet told me that this is totes real, guys. My citation is interdimensional aliens that are working with Donald Trump, and a pillow salesman told me. I'm a reasonable person and I have 3 children. I'm a good father.
Mike Adams, National News, it's for killing people. Mercola, it's for killing people.
Some cats and dogs studies allow them to be adopted after the studies are done. Oh, that's good. Muddy says his evidence is repeating himself over and over again.
They all agree it's going to kill.
A crack pillow salesman? Hey, I'm pretty sure Mike Lindell was into cocaine, okay? He's classy. He doesn't do crack cocaine. That's for the pores. Andrew Patella says, so billionaire Bill Gates wants the world depopulated because I guess money becomes more valuable the fewer people there are in the world. See, that's the funny thing. It's so not true. Like, Bill Gates is one of the richer people on the planet. He's a multi-billionaire. If you wiped out 9 out of 10 people on the planet, his wealth would be worth nothing. He would just be another person in a wasteland. Like, he would not have power or interests for this to be the case. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't help anybody. Stromboli for Wi-Fi says, to be fair, you don't want to contaminate your study data with animals that have been part of other studies, and you don't want to give all those free secondhand rats to people that might be sensitive to stuff in those previous studies. Yeah, I understand.
Billions of people in the next 3 years. And before I even read that from them, I already knew it. It was obvious.
That's how reasonable people come to conclusions. I already thought a thing with my feelings, and then I seeked out a source online that happens to be aliens from another dimension, and they said the thing I already believed, and that's how I knew it was true.
Because this is what they do. They kill people, and they're trying to kill billions of people right now. Now, Trump's going to do his best to save us. Hopefully he's going to step in, save the army and all that stuff.
Trump is busy planning his tour with Bill O'Reilly, Peter. He's busy taking money from people like you. He doesn't have time to do any of the nonsense fictional stuff you're talking about.
But save your loved ones, save your friends, educate them on the vaccine, the damage, how bad it
Yeah, I'm not kidding. He's going on tour with Bill O'Reilly.
it is, because
Oh God, can you imagine if Trump tries to run in 2024, he wants Bill O'Reilly to be his VP?
it's getting serious, guys. All right, I didn't want to do this because I'm the optimistic, happy guy, but the fact...
Are you? Are you, though?
fact is, this is just a video that needed to be made. And I'm glad I made it, and it was tough to make it, but what's really tough is all the people that are going to die in the next few years. That's pretty sad. All right, guys, have a good day. Cheer up. Protect your people from the weapon called the COVID vaccine.
Get vaccinated, people. Luckily, I have a bigger audience than Peter by a fair amount, so I have a further reach, and more people believe the things I say because I'm not crazy. At least not about this. So, I'm going to counter his claims and say, get vaccinated as soon as you can. Get your loved ones vaccinated, and Peter is a fool.
And stay safe out there. It's an information war. And something as simple as believing the COVID vaccine is safe can kill you.
No, it can't. What's going to kill you, Peter, is not listening to doctors and not taking your children to the hospital when they're sick or injured. That'll kill people. Felix Night Owl says, this might be a shitty take, but if I was still living with my parents and I was in debt, I'd eat myself with untenable self-disappointment having 3 kids. I have a bachelor's degree and served in the Marine Corps for 8 years and can't consider myself remotely close to being prepared for having kids. I know. Peter has 3 kids. He doesn't have a job. He lives with his parents. What's he doing? Nick says, Peter, that kills people.
That's how serious this information war is. All right, everyone, have a good day. Trust the plan. Enjoy the show. God bless America.
Morok says, Hannah, you think Hot Pockets are food. We know you're crazy in your own way. The Hot Pocket thing is a meme, okay? Hot Pockets are serviceable at best. So that's Peter. He's full of shit. Peter's wrong about pretty much everything he claims. Peter's a bad guy. I don't think he's a malicious guy. I don't think he's intending harm. But through his ignorance, he is harming people and promoting harmful beliefs. So that sucks. But it is what it is. Keep checking up on him. You're ready for that sub you won from Bingo? Okay. Here we go. It's a little Mario-y. Let's go. Let me cross your name off the list. Let's groove tonight. Do 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 do. Share the spice of life. Do 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 do. Bingo sub redeemed. Ilium Gal with 100 bits says, Hi Hannah, you're a fantastic streamer and have helped me get through lockdowns, so what follows is firmly tongue-in-cheek. In your streams with Jake, you talked about the timeless child from the last series of Doctor Who, and I'm vexed. Whilst few opinions on fiction are wrong, you're missing some context, and your anger at the overturning of lore, facts that are actually misunderstandings, is making you overtly hostile and causing you to spread misinformation on this massively important topic. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we can talk about it sometime. Maybe on a patron-only stream the next time we do it. Here's another bird picture for restoring sanity. How nice. Ilium Gal says, nonsensical might seem a bit harsh, but this is the show that accidentally sank Atlantis twice on screen because they forgot they had already done it once a few years before. I'm aware. My issue is not some sort of issue of, and again, I don't want to get into spoilers here because, you know, I already got into spoilers earlier and I don't want to do that again. But speaking vaguely, it's not some like plot hole issue I have a problem with. Plot holes are fine in service of a good story. I think what happened at the end of the latest series of Doctor Who undermines a lot of what makes the Doctor special, and that's an issue. There's nothing wrong with plot holes. I have a problem with what I consider to be stories that hurt the overall story that's being told. The story of the Doctor in this case. And I think the changes that were made weaken the appeal of the character. Strawberry for Wi-Fi says, cleanse for later. No copyright because the company doesn't exist anymore. That's the best kind of fair use.
Hi, I'm Janae from Mahalo.com, and I'm going to teach you how to make an old-fashioned. For an
Is this like funny or something?
old-fashioned, you need bourbon, maraschino cherries, orange slices, bitters, and then you can either have regular sugar cubes or you can use simple syrup, whichever you'd like, depending on how sweet.
Or is this literally just someone talking about how to make an old-fashioned?
Or if you want it a little bit more
It's
liquid.
funny? Okay.
What your preference is. So we're going to start out with our glass, and we're going to take our orange slice wedge and a cherry or two. I like to use 2 cherries just to give it a little bit more cherry flavor. We're going to go ahead and then also grab a sugar cube. So you'll see you have your orange, your cherries, and your sugar cube on the glass. You're going to mash all of that up really good. Just make sure you get all the sugar and the cherries, everything good and mashed. If you don't have a muddler, as you can see that I don't, basically anything works. A wooden spoon end or whatever it is that you'd want to use to mash it up. Once everything's mashed up, go ahead and put like 2, maybe 3 dashes of your bitters. And then we're going to get an ice cup. So then we'll fill it all the way up with ice. And then you're going to put 3 ounces of bourbon in. So this is a pretty strong drink. And not that many people order it anymore, actually. It's kind of, like I said, it's an old-fashioned. It's something that was kind of from prior generations. But it actually is really good, and it's similar to like a Manhattan, but you know, the orange in it makes it even better, I think. So of course you want to make sure all those flavors get mixed up. So you're going to go ahead and kind of, ooh.
That is so much fucking bourbon.
Back and forth. And make messes all over the place until you get it all mixed up.
Like, if you drank this, you'd be fucking trashed. You would be violently ill if you drank this much.
And you have the orange rind and the cherry all mixed up with the bourbon and the sugar so that all the flavors can blend together. And that's how you make an old-fashioned.
Oh my god, that's
Thanks
terrible.
If you have any drink requests, go ahead and send them to request@mahalo.com. Or if you just want to learn some other drinks, visit the link.
Wow, that was awful. She's gonna get people trashed, sick, and that's not good. If I ordered an old-fashioned and someone gave me a pint of bourbon, I wouldn't even be mad. That's terrible. Muddy says, based on all the spillage, she's already smashed. Like, surely she must have, you know, done that and been like, this seems like a lot of just straight bourbon with a little bit of fruit mashed into it with the peels and stuff. Muddy says, based on all that... Oh, already read that. Morok says, thoughts on the classic Who plans to have the Doctor be revealed as Razalon and Omega's before never named lab partner and therefore be one of the original Time Lords. The show was cancelled before that plan came to be fully realized. Personally, I think it would have been the same kind of mistake New Who made with the Timeless Child would have completely ruined the mystique. Yeah, I think they were going to go by the other. I think this was when they were still going to maybe make looms canon in the show. Looms are a thing in the books. None of this is going to make sense if you're not a Doctor Who fan. But the Doctor was going to be basically a re-loomed reincarnation of the other. I think this was like the Hartmel master plan, I think it was called. I'm glad they didn't go through with that, for the record. Daddy Sume says, that's an old-fashioned that Clay would have definitely served to those college girls. Ooh. Yikes. Mike Max.
Now into a shaker.
Is this another one like that? Okay, we'll watch one more of these and then we'll do John Doyle. Ilium Gale says, I won't bang on now because off topic and try not to be that sort of fan, but you, not just you in fairness, are mistaken to the extent that the elements that make up the Timeless Child are in the classic show, including by the person who came up with the Time Lords. I don't really care about authorial intent of the original people who made Doctor Who. A lot of classic Who, especially early Who, is bad. And if you're gonna get into like the Morbius stuff, I don't care what... I do not care what that episode with Morbius implied. That had already been swept under the rug for decades. I do not care about the Morbius thing.
I'm just gonna place some kiwi, but first, I want to mush it up a little bit and break this up. These are beautiful, ripe kiwis, lots of flavor. Just fork these until they're all broken up.
Yeah, fork them.
Like that. Then into my shaker, I'm going to put some ice. Then I'm going to put my kiwi. Then in here...
I did not like the sound of that in my ear. Keyboard Turner Overdrive says, did that girl learn how to make drinks from the Blizzard employees? Got 'em! Daddy Sume says, Clay is the main character of the movie Old Fashioned that Hannah and Jake reviewed in the past. It was incredibly creepy with a dude who would not be in the same room alone with a woman because he was afraid of what he might do, and that dating doesn't teach people to be good partners, it teaches them to be superficial. Oh, yeah. I remember that movie now. Sorry. We've done a lot of movies. They all kind of blur together at a certain point, and that was not one of the more memorable ones.
2 shots of vodka.
Oh, really? I'd love to see this lady's shot glasses.
Then 1...
2 shots of Blah, blah, blah. I think America has a problem with alcohol.
Shot of melon liqueur. Ooh, it's gonna be strong. And a little bit of simple syrup. Of course, this is just sugar and water that I brought up to a boil, and I put it in this cute.
Big Sweet Demon says, I can't tell if that's a critical pour, crit 1 pour, or a crit 20.
Little squeeze bottle, and I'm just gonna put in here
I've not seen this, no.
just a hint of the juice from a jalapeno jar.
Ew.
Just a little bit to give it a great kick. Stir this up. Now it's taste time. Beautiful green color, gorgeous little lush lagoon. With pretty little black seeds floating from those kiwis. Then I'm gonna garnish this with just 2 kiwi slices that I reserved. Beautiful.
This woman made the 2 shots of vodka drink and tried it.
Am I about
Oh no. Okay, let me just get to the tasting.
And it's cocktail time.
nature band-aids? That's how I drink it. Stink with the worst. I'm gonna die.
She already drank it. That's
Still knows.
Beautiful.
Okay, side of the glass would be more aesthetically pleasing, but...
Helium Gal says, no, not Morbius. The Time Lords whipped the Doctor's memory of certain things in the original series, and Terrence Dix, who created the Time Lords, made it canon that Time Lords directed the second Doctor on missions and whipped his memory of it before they exiled him to Earth. Oh my god, are we doing 2B? 2B is not canon! I don't even mind season 2B as a concept, but it has absolutely never been fully canonized. The entire idea of Doctor Who canon is, like, silly in the first place. It doesn't matter. But season 2B is not necessarily canon. And don't bring up the Colin Baker crossover episode. We're not getting into this. We're not doing this today. Ilium Gel says, is now. Fuck you. Making 2B canon would not be worth destroying the foundational elements of what makes the Doctor an interesting character. Phoenix Flight says, authorial intent in Doctor Who is kind of overdone. JNT thought making Colin Baker play an asshole was a good idea. The Big Finish stuff redeemed him so much. Agreed. On Patreon then, dares you. Yeah, you can come on and we can have like an actual conversation during the Patreon live stream. I think that'd be fun. I'm joking, by the way. I enjoy talking about Doctor Who. I'm not like genuinely upset or anything. I want to be clear about that.
All right, here it is. The final product.
I missed your bits. I apologize. I apologize, Muddy. Anything's a shot if you drink it fast enough. This lady probably. Also kiwi and jalapeno. What the fuck? Making 2B canon gets us more Troughton stories. I have no problem with 2B. I even think 2B is a great idea because I love Troughton. Troughton's my favorite classic Doctor. My issue is simply the Timeless Child stuff is trash and undermines the uniqueness of the Doctor in the sense that they're supposed to just be a random Time Lord that got sick of the society and ran away. It's simple. They're just another person in the universe who happens to be very intelligent and capable and uses that for good. I don't want the Doctor to be some, like, all-powerful, mysterious being from another dimension. That's so stupid. And I don't want the Doctor tied into the origins of Gallifrey. Or Time Lords. Phoenix Flight says, I don't like the Timeless Child either. I'm just finding silver linings.
Sandra, this is insane. It really looks like a swamp. There's like moss floating at the bottom. Cute. Cheers, bitches!
You've been getting it wrong the whole time in season 6B? Oh my god, you're right. Well, I fucked that up. There goes my fan card.
It's not that bad. It really burns on the way down. And like the whole time. I need a minute. Hold on.
Strumboy for Wi-Fi says, I've only seen one episode of The Female Doctor. Is it me or does she act like she has Alzheimer's? I don't know about that, but the scripts are bad.
It's not that bad. I can't tell if it's the jalapeno burning or the straight alcohol. I think it's a jalapeno. It's not the worst drink I've ever had, but it's up there with the worst. I'm gonna die. Like, not today, but just at some point. Uh-oh, I'm drunk. Sandra, what is this? Do you need to talk to somebody? These look like little nature band-aids. I'm drunk. Okay, hear me out. What if we... Oh! Yeah, it's fine.
Jesus Christ. Alright, we gotta do John Doyle before we call it a night, okay? It's in the title, we gotta do it. Jamesh 2021 says, in my opinion, I don't really care about canon, I just enjoy the episodes as they come, plus I'm loving watching the fashdom menace creaming their pants over the leaving. Okay. It's time for a new John Doyle video. This one is titled, Warning! Why we have to be skeptical of Ron DeSantis. So let's see him talk about the governor of Florida. Oh, God. I hate John Doyle's new attitude. It's kind of the same old attitude, but like on crack. Because he moved away from his parents for the first time, and he's having that, like, manic, like, I'm on my own for the first time, I can do whatever I want thing. Which a lot of people go through, but, like, coupled with John Doyle's personality, it's just not fun. We're on a hype train, 37% to level 1. Fella Dude Man says, I'm a Tom Baker guy myself. Right on. Ilium Gal says, making the Doctor a disciplined person who was abused doesn't make them powerful, especially when compared to being a Time Lord. Giving the Doctor literal healing hands and the ability to blow up Dalek ships with regenerative magic. I'm not Ma either. Who lore is ridiculous. I don't think you have to have the Doctor be an abused person to have them be an interesting character. I just want them to be like a normal person. Galfrayan. Kirthan says, if the rest of the states decide to Atlantis, Florida, I'd understand and look forward to my watery demise. And then Muddy, thanks for gifting us up.
Hi, it's me, John Doyle. I'd like to show you a couple things before we get started today that you'll find are actually very pertinent to the video. The first is my left hand. This was the hand that was used inadvertently to mess up the audio on the video today. I feel very bad.
Oh no, is it bad audio?
Badly about this. And what's more interesting...
I swear to God, I thought he was going to say, this is the hand that I masturbated with. I apologize, everyone. I'll never do it again. Because he's so anti-masturbation. Just Jalen with 50 bits says, choo-choo. Schwiggity schwa says, a hype train, you say.
Is that there was actually a joke in the video that was something to the effect of, hey, we might need to start employing pain as an incentive for me to meet the standard that we all know that I should be operating at. That leads us to the second thing, which is this steel exterior door. It's very heavy, and when it shuts, it shuts.
Is John Doyle about to hurt himself?
That's hard. I think we know where this is going. View this as my commitment to you and to making good content. I will now give the door.
Shriggity Schwass is a hype train, you say, with 100 bits, and Raven says, I want that boobs is better than beards shirt. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, uh-oh. 93% to level 1.
To my cameraman, who's going to slam it on my hand.
I hate John Doyle, but I hope he fakes this, because this would be like, I know John's 21 and we all do really stupid stuff when we're 21, but if he legit went through with this, it would be the dumbest thing ever. I don't like John. I think he's a bad guy, but I don't necessarily think he's stupid, so I'm guessing he's not actually going to do it. Morok says, I'm a Sylvester McCoy girl. I know they were building towards a really dumb reveal with a lot of more interesting speeches, but I find his chess master vibe he got in his second season amazing. Yeah, he's good.
Dude.
Okay, yeah.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is...
Oh, listen to that audio. No! Why would you even put this video out? This is a redo. This is a redo. Listen, John, I've been in this game for a long time. Okay? I've been doing the online thing, talking into a stupid mic for 10 years, almost. Sometimes this will happen. This has happened with Jake and I. Some audio issue will happen, and it's unlistenable. And you know what you do in that case, John? Because this is your job. You re-record the video. It sucks. Maybe you even need to take a day. I'm not telling you need to do it back to back. But, like, if you fuck up a recording, you go, oh, god damn it, and you get frustrated. And then you take some time or a day, and then you go redo it. Because this is your job. Don't be lazy.
Has been setting a great...
Muddy says hype time with 100 bits. Muddy says, also, holy fuck, his audio is JPEG crust in audio form. Ilium Gal says, first Doctor is the best Doctor. Mike Mac, I'd highly recommend, Big Finish has a series called The First Doctor Adventures with, I'm blanking on his name, but he played the First Doctor in, Twice Upon a Time, the Peter Capaldi finale, where he played the First Doctor. He plays the First Doctor in those audios, and I think he does an excellent job. Highly recommend. Mike Mack says, so what was the point of the last season in the special of the Smith Doctor if she was the timeless child? Right? Again, I don't care about plot holes, but it kind of deflates those things in hindsight. Nick says, everything in Texas is deep fried, even the audio.
Great example for how governments should be run in red states, and naturally, many Republicans have started to fantasize about a DeSantis 2020...
David Bradley, that's his name, yes, thank you.
24 scenario with early polling showing that DeSantis dominates the prospective competition in that scenario, provided that Donald Trump does not run again in 2024, in which case Trump would be the clear and obvious frontrunner. And I like Ron DeSantis a lot. I think he's a stand-up guy. I think he's done a lot of good stuff, so don't think that I'm attacking him, because I'm not. But as you know, my governance...
If we get to level 5 of the hype train, we will abandon this John Doyle audio nightmare and find something else to watch. Okay, Travis with 100 bits says, all hail the hype train.
Philosophy is essentially that everything with which I agree that is being promoted by people I like is so true. But if it's being promoted by people I don't like, then it's a psyop. Think of it as an amendment to the friend-enemy distinction. Remember what Reagan said, trust but verify. It's called we do a little trusting but verifying, because I've noticed that a lot of people who aren't our friends are promoting DeSantis, and so I've given it some thought, I've run the numbers. Be sure to watch all the way through, because I do have some nice things to say about DeSantis, and I don't want you to think that I'm attacking him, that I'm anti-DeSantis, because I'm not, but we're going to go over the truth about DeSantis, Trump, their similarities and differences, how the establishment perceives them, if they're actually a threat to the establishment, why our enemies are propping up DeSantis, how we basically predicted all of this last year, how to navigate the future of right-wing governments in this country.
John, you helped, well, you didn't really, you were too young at the time, but Trump and people like him helped set up a base of American voters who are really, really prone to embracing fascist ideology, and then you're surprised that that base might get hijacked from a more establishment Republican who's willing to adopt the rhetoric? Like, that's, come on. Come on, John. That's not surprising. Establishment people steal the rhetoric of grassroots movements all the time. Okay, Travis says, all hail the hype train. Ilium Gal says, last of my bits for the hype train. Big Sweet Demon with 600 says, get me away from this Florida-based nightmare. Citosaurus with 200 bits says, found my favorite frozen pizza on sale, and I'm done with work for the day, and you're still streaming. Lucky day. E-Tune with 1,000 says, anything to get out of Jonold? Archangel says, John Doyle, more like Yawn Doyle, am I right? Bubble Homestead says, audio hostage bits. H. Baird says, doing my part to end the audio torture. 52% to level 3. You did miss Peter, I'm sorry.
And much.
I'll be posting the Peter stuff later, though, so you'll be able to catch it on YouTube or in the clip, you know, the video section here on Twitch. Citosaurus says, also, what the fuck is up with John's recording? His beard is evidently evidence of him entering an I don't give a fuck mode. Can we watch Dancy instead? I don't think a lot of people would like that.
Much more. No one else will tell you this information, but I do it because I love you. Do stay tuned.
Is he gonna change his intro now that he moved?
Kami. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heck Off Kami. I'm gonna have to do something pretty soon. Like, if I don't upload at least 2 videos a week for a whole month, then I have to post a video of me, like, getting lit up with a bunch of paintball guns at close range as punishment. That might be good content, right? I could go to a football field wearing close to nothing and just have a bunch of members from the website just leave a bunch of welts and cuts and bruises all over me because I haven't posted content. Is that the incentive we need? This is really a powerful gesture, Mr. Doyle. It'll set quite an example now. You're making a big mistake. I have to be on camera. I can't have facial scarring. You said you'd say that. The homophobic treatise is imminent, okay? You told us you'd say that too. Okay.
Oh, wait. Was the video he did that was the man on the street segment not his big homophobic video? Oh, no.
Look, I get it. I do. But posting a video of myself...
2 minutes left with 56% of the hype train.
Getting injured in some quasi-masochistic shit post-ritual, it's bad optics, okay? It will diminish people's inclination to take us seriously. You said you would definitely say that. Regardless, we do have a few good videos lined up, but I have to be careful in the near future.
Did one of John's new Texas friends introduce him to cocaine? Or Adderall or something? Like, it sounds like he's on uppers. Muddy says, shoot him in the balls with a paintball gun.
Because if attracted someone wanted attention, nothing we can't handle, but we just have to take it easy for a second. So for today, we're going to hit on DeSantis because he has risen to the level of what I would regard as like the top 5 key players in right-wing politics alongside people like Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson, and then I'll leave the other 2 slots for debate. But the first thing that I want to say is that DeSantis embodies very well the 2 prerequisites necessary for a successful, positive right-wing media campaign. So if you're going to prop somebody up, if you're going to promote somebody in the right, then they're going to need these 2 characteristics. They decide whether it could be done successfully, and then there's a third characteristic that decides whether it will be done at all. And so the first 2 characteristics are basically 1, vaguely positive political instincts, and 2, ability and inclination to dunk on the libs. You might think that
Imagine that being a quality for right-wing figures and him not being like, maybe this is a bad platform. E-Tune says, John Doyle pain is interesting, but get us out of here already. DM Trey says, does John realize he's into pain play? Big Sweet Demon says, I feel like Texas is more left than John expected, and it's causing him great distress. He seems like he's in a content drought if he's going all the way to Florida. Yeah, DeSantis is, like, relevant, though, because he's going to make a bid for the 2024 election, so I get it. Monster Jr., thanks for gifting us 5 Tier 1 subs to the community. Princess Amelia with 100 bits says, are we seriously putting ourselves through this audio torture just for John Doyle? What are we doing? I think that to myself a lot.
In order for right-wing media to rally behind you, that you have to be, like, really, really ideological.
Level 5 complete! Once the hype train timer ends, I will end the video. There's 4 minutes left on the hype train timer.
Really principled, but that's really not necessary. You basically just have to have vaguely right-wing political instincts, which both DeSantis and Trump have. And then the second characteristic, which they also both have, is especially important. You have to be able to own the libs. And perhaps counterintuitively, this isn't even done necessarily to demoralize the libs, but more obviously to obfuscate and masquerade our own demoralization. I used to think that it was all like clickbait to make people feel good about themselves, but honestly, like, it might just be that there are people in this country, good people, who simply could not handle processing the reality of how bad things have gotten. We might literally need videos of Ron DeSantis tearing apart false COVID media narrative to prevent mass baby boomer suicide. We might unironically need these theatrical, viral, political victories in order to prevent total collapse of the American right. But maybe collapse would be good. Anyways, it's especially important because people right now are rightfully frustrated at the establishment media, the establishment politicians, and so when you've got a guy in there who will basically not tolerate their BS, it is nice to see.
3 minutes, 30 seconds left.
Exact moments at which this metamorphosis occurred, at least in my opinion, by watching the debate exchanges in 2016 between people like Donald Trump and Jeb Bush, and then Chris Christie and Marco Rubio. Like, Donald Trump had that less polished, more raw, masculine, tell-it-like-it-is energy, and he single-handedly destroyed Jeb Bush's political ambitions.
If Donald Trump is what masculine energy is, then for the love of God, hashtag force feminize all men.
And it was beautiful. And Chris Christie did the same thing. Remember that one exchange where Rubio repeated the memorized speech again after he was called out for it? It was a massacre. And Chris Christie ended his whole campaign that night. And so that's the key distinction. If you want a future in right-wing politics, you have to read the room. And the room has no respect for the establishment because the establishment has failed them. And they are correct, and that the establishment doesn't deserve their respect. And that's why anybody who maintains that we need to bring back respectable political discourse and people with good temperament and principles, anybody who says anything like that, the DC types, they are too busy masturbating to their own self-image to read the room. That's what that is. These are the people who would wear suits to school.
I like that most of the people he's showing, the guys at least, look like John Doyle used to dress all the time and exactly how he dresses in his intro. Now he's doing like weird Texas John where he's like, hey, I'm casual, I'm unbuttoning my top buttons. But like, this is fundamentally still the image John Doyle rose to prominence under, was like wearing suits and shit online. 2 minutes left. Amori Miku says, Trump has become the model of Republican masculinity. That's why they imitate Trump's weird hand stuff. Yeah.
And advertise themselves as the political kid. I'm a political junkie. And they have this artificially constructed image of what politicians should be like. And that's the only reason for it, because their own self-image requires it. These types of people are the same types of people who have occupied these institutions for decades and who have done nothing because they are too busy masturbating to the idea of being a DC operative. We don't need people masturbating, okay? We need people who are baiting the media, baiting journalists. We need masturbators, not masturbators.
Raven says John Doyle definitely brought a roller backpack to class.
Which way, Western man? That being said, the characteristic that ultimately decides whether
Nick says you masturbate to fascism, John.
The person in question will be propped up as a figure is whether the establishment perceives them to be a threat. And it's different with politicians and media figures. So like someone like Tucker Carlson is going to have influence regardless. He's on Fox News. He gets millions of people watching him every night. He is the media, right? He's already in people's faces. But what decides whether a political figure will be put into people's faces, I believe, is ultimately whether the establishment perceives them to be a threat.
Princess Amelia says, John, no fap Doyle strikes again.
Look at the way they treated Trump in 2016. Obviously, the left gave him overwhelmingly negative coverage, but there were even right-wing media outlets who criticized him incessantly, who berated him, who said that he wasn't a real conservative, etc., etc. And
I mean, I don't think he is. Not based on what conservatism meant before Donald Trump. What the right has been has changed a lot, even in just the last 30 years or so, but like, Donald Trump was not your typical right-winger for the time. Muddy says he's the final boss of No Nut November. We did it, folks. That's the end of the hype train. No more of this shitty John Doyle audio video. I would legit listen to the whole thing if it weren't for the audio, but that's bad. That's lazy, even by John's standards. Like, come on. Really? His top comment is disgusting too. John Doyle's posts, very sorry about the audio. If the audio and video aren't perfect next time, I'll donate $1 billion to black people. Ha 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 ha. John Doyle's a piece of shit. Jalen Jean says, yay, we're free. I don't know if I'd say that. The punchline is vegan teacher.
Hello, students. It seems that we have a new student in our class here, and his name is Ethan Bishop V. And I guess the V stands...
This is a real monkey's paw situation, isn't it? You gave me a bunch of money to skip Doyle, and now you have to watch the vegan teacher? Just saying, guys. Watch Wishmaster just once. That's all I'm saying.
For vegan. Because it says here that he's been vegan for more than 5 years, which is the same as me. He has 578 followers. Now let's have a look at his account and see if we think he should have less followers or more followers.
I love when a 50-something-year-old woman stalks what looks to be teenage boys on TikTok. That's not creepy.
Let's just start with this one here.
Humane slaughter doesn't exist. Carnists will tell vegans that they're 100% morally justified in prematurely ending the lives of others because the animals they killed didn't feel much pain or fight back out of fear for their own safety because they didn't expect someone to murder them. Well, when you're bragging about only supporting humane slaughter, you're literally just bragging about tricking someone into thinking that you're not a threat when you actually are.
Yeah, basically, but different people have different moral feelings on animals. Like, I understand that vegans and a lot of people feel that, like, it's completely morally untenable to kill an animal to eat. Most people don't feel that way. For most people, it's a concern about making sure that even though you're going to kill the animal, and most people are fine with that, doing so as painlessly as possible. You don't want to distress the animal. That's just how most people feel about it. Shiggity Schwa says, wish granted. Sidosaurus says, oh man, the lady gives me full body cringe. Her voice is so patronizing, like she's talking to a puppy or a small child and repeats the same talking points over and over again like someone with dementia. Princess Amelia say, did he just say carnist as in carnivore? He did. Muddy says, I got a good-ass bowl of beef and egg stir-fry with homegrown vegetables to eat while we watch her.
That's like slipping a roofie in your date's drink, raping them, and then virtue signaling to your friends saying, oh, it was so nice, they didn't feel a thing, they didn't even know it hit them. Someone who raped...
Oh, look, another person who's comparing eating meat to sexual assault. Gross. Wagroad says, Crispy Keeper says, looks like Hannah is forcing her chat to eat their vegetables. Phoenix Flight says, should we destroy this young man's social media life? Let's see. Is a hell of a way to start a video. And Sidosaurus says, is this dementia?
An unconscious or disoriented person is just as much of a psychopath as someone who rapes a fully alert and conscious person. The only way to humanely treat other sentient beings is to respect their consent, something that's lacking. Every time an animal is excoriated for a sandwich and other frivolous bullshit you don't even fucking need. Humane slaughter doesn't exist.
Wow. All right, well, I give that 10 on 10. Very good. So here's the account. Ethan Bishop V. Humane slaughter does not exist. Well, so far I like this. Very good. And you see he has his comments off, it seems. Oh, no, you have to log in to see the comments.
Morok says, no, this guy is racist against indigenous people. Just from the brief glimpse I got on his main page, he has videos on natives needing to give up our hunting traditions and go vegan. Yikes. Nick says, animals can consent, don't tell zoophiles. Oh, no. Yeah, I hate, again, I don't have any problem with veganism. Clearly, I'm dating a vegan. Like, veganism's great. Cool. But the kind of, like, especially white, liberal veganism that, like, tries to tell, like, like what you just said, like, indigenous people who have certain, like, cultural traditions around hunting, and being like, excuse you, I need to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. Like, not a great history of that happening.
All right. Well, I'm here on my computer, so I can't...
I get why this kid is insufferable, by the way. This kid looks like he's maybe 17. I don't know his age, but he's young, right? And I say this as someone who's not, like, super old. I'm 27, so I'm still in my 20s. Like, I'm not pretending I'm fucking ancient. But I've been online for a long time, so I know a thing or two about being young and saying really stupid things online when you're an obnoxious young person who thinks they know everything. I understand why this kid's like this. He's young, you know? He'll learn better as he gets older. I'm not saying he'll stop being vegan. Absolutely not. I assume he'll continue to be vegan, and that's wonderful. But I think the way he talks about things and the way he talks to other people about this will absolutely change. The vegan teacher, she's in her 50s. She doesn't really have an excuse. Nick says you sounded like vegan Ben Shapiro.
Can't do that.
Let's say, hypothetically, you got all of your protein from vegetables, nuts, and seeds, okay? Let's say, hypothetically, you took into consideration the feelings of the animals that are around you instead of trying to use them as property for your own nutritional needs or wants.
At the moment. So let's go and have a look at another video. But just to let you know, students, if you want to turn your comments off, that is
Yeah, there's the video you were talking about. Indigenous people have no excuse, go vegan. Ooh.
perfectly fine. You can avoid all of the abuse that carnists will send your way and vegan-phobic people. And just keep educating. So that was very good. Let's listen to another one.
Carnists love to talk about how vegans cause crop deaths in an effort to expose hypocrisy among vegans and to somehow
Is crop deaths what they call, like, animals, small mammals typically getting killed through farming?
justify their own beliefs. Look, if you're against causing crop deaths or want to cause less, you shouldn't be supporting
fewer
animal agriculture anyway, because more deaths are caused in animal agriculture than
Yeah, but no, you're missing the point. It's not that I'm telling you that crop death is inexcusable. It's someone pointing out the sort of hypocrisy or pointing out, usually against people like that vegan teacher, who are very hardline and like, no harm against animals is acceptable at any level, and illustrating, well, you're still harming animals in some way. It's sort of an inevitable consequence of, you know, the society we live in. I understand that animals die when you, like, grow plants and stuff. It happens. It's not even a thing that I would bring up against, like, a normal vegan, right? Like, I don't think normal vegans are shocked by the fact that, you know, animals get killed sometimes in the process of growing, food. If you're all about just harm reduction, sure, that's still the way to go. It's just a criticism levied at people like that vegan teacher who think any amount of harm, even if you're trying to mitigate as much harm as possible, is not okay. And it's pointing out that, hey, I know you're doing your best, but even you are just harm reducing. You're harm reducing to a great extent, but you cannot get rid of it entirely, and you should be able to recognize the consequences of your own actions as well as those of others. Daddy Sume with 30 bits. Why?
in plant agriculture strictly for human consumption. Even a carnist named Stephen L. Davis, who was trying to make the case that carnist diets cause less deaths than vegan diets in the Journal of Agricultural and Environmental Ethics, indirectly demonstrated that 1,000 kilograms of protein from plants would kill 15 animals, and 1,000 kilograms of protein from grass-fed beef would kill 75 animals. This means that Davis's estimates actually supports the
Honestly, that's closer than I thought it would be. I thought the numbers would be way different. 15 versus 75. Like, that's actually way closer than I thought it would be. Holy shit.
that vegans are responsible.
Like, there's still a pretty wide gap, but I didn't think it would be 15. Holy fucking shit.
For 5 times fewer animal deaths.
Wow. Cultivating crops kills a lot of animals. Bummer.
Than carnists. Carnists love to talk about how vegans cause crop deaths in an effort to expose hypocrisy among vegans and to...
All right, that was another excellent presentation, because people are often talking about crop deaths. So if you want to refer back to this video, remember this gentleman's address here, Ethan Bishop V. He is over there on TikTok.
Thanks for coming, Rain Dean.
Let's continue. So far, I like this. He has 100%
Your
so
culture
far.
justifies nothing. If I lived around 400 years ago, my culture would have said I could own black people.
Oh, no. Nope. I'm gonna... This opinion is vetoed.
To use culture as a justification to discriminate against others is bullshit, which includes the culture of indigenous people. I recently saw a TikTok made...
As a white 16-year-old guy, I think I can tell you that your centuries old, if not older, cultural beliefs are offensive to me. Could you, like, stop? Go fuck yourself.
By an indigenous person, so she has a phone and lives in a house. She has no reason to kill for her survival or anything, but she was showing off a purse made out of seal skin. Why do humans think they have the right to end the lives of animals because they're a culture accumulated from their ancestors killing animals to survive? That doesn't mean you, living in modern human civilization with thousands of more ethical options, should make animals pay for your culture, even if you forcefully end their life without much pain. It's not humane, it's not spiritual, and it's not justified. It's animal.
Baja says, yikes, fuck him. Again, I agree, but also, God, how old could this kid possibly be? Maybe he just has a baby face. I don't know. But he looks like he's like 16 or 17, if that. Like, I don't... It's hard to blame someone who's like that young for their stupid, really out-of-touch opinions. I'm not saying don't correct him, but like, I would hope this is something he's embarrassed by later.
Abuse. And you could call me a colonizer, or a racist, or a white vegan.
Done.
I don't give a fuck. All I care about is everyone keeping their hands off the goddamn animals. Your culture justifies nothing.
So that was excellent. The only comment I have there is at the end when he said the goddamn animals. I would say the kind animals or the innocent animals.
That's not petty.
Or the animals that don't deserve to be treated badly. I think that is just a little thing, though, that just blurted out of his mouth, just in frustration. So culture justifies nothing, no exceptions. So good job. And look at that, he has a hashtag vegan teacher. Very good. Because yes, you are definitely teaching veganism. Good job. Let's see what else we have here. Let me close this here. So, all right, we had the crop deaths, we had those three. What else have we got here? Let's look at this
As
one.
many of you know, I made a video telling indigenous people in modern human civilization like Shinanova to stop terrorizing animals and to just leave them alone, which was largely just meant by the argument, oh, some indigenous people don't have access to a plant-based diet because shipping costs of plants are insane and the climate isn't conducive to growing crops, you racist. Okay, did I ever say I had an issue with someone doing what's necessary to be alive and healthy? Before you attack someone's worldview, how about you make sure you're actually attacking their worldview instead of committing a straw man fallacy? Like probably.
Oh, yeah, this kid's gotta be like 16. That's a straw man fallacy. I learned that last week on YouTube. E-Toon says, of course she agrees with that. Muddy says, how about the tastiest fuck animals? Mike Mack says, he's Hyde in his rebellious year. And Nick says, and now he lost the zoophile demographic when he told people to keep their hands off the animals.
80% of the carnies who commented on that video did. Veganism is about the abstinence of certain egregious actions and egregious circumstances, such as paying someone to stab a random seal in the brain, skin them, and disrespect their corpse by turning them to a purse, like Shinanova did, who is not in a circumstance where she needs to be cruel to animals. Look at her technology, look at her makeup, look at where she lives. There is no fucking justification for people like her to support this animal agriculture and animal cruelty. And the more you say, oh, but it's sustainable hunting, shows how much human supremacy has corrupted you and how much you most likely don't give a fuck about animals.
Human supremacy has corrupted us, chat. Big Sweet Demon says he's presenting his ideas poorly and aggressively and from a feeling of superiority. Watch out, vegan teacher, he's coming for your spot.
You probably approve of sustainable hunting because it doesn't fuck up humans' life and well-being, but don't care about the consequences of even...
No, like, people don't want to... In this day and age, for instance, like in the United States, if you want to go hunting for most, you know, game animals in the United States, I guess it kind of depends. But, like, if you want to hunt a deer or something like that, you need to go get a license, and the Department of Natural Resources for your state or whatever keeps track of the populations of deer to ensure that people, and they, of course, crack down on poaching when they can. But either way, they're trying to keep track of how many get killed by hunters so they don't hurt the population by overhunting.
Even sustainable hunting being the premature...
What about 30 to 50 feral hogs? And also, I don't know how... I don't know much about this argument, so I can't say it for sure, but I know that people talk about, the fact that so many, and this is also the fault of humans, I'm not here to say anything otherwise, but, like, a lot of natural predators of, like, deer have been reduced, wolves, In Michigan, wolverines. Other natural predators of deer that have been reduced or wiped out in certain areas to the extent that deer will overpopulate and then they'll just starve to death. So what do you do in that situation? Is it better and more ethical to let huge swaths of the population starve to death? Or is it better to take the role of those natural predators? I don't know. That's an ethical question for someone else, but it's something that you should at least consider.
End to a conscious creature's life who just wanted to live. That's all we're asking for. If you can live and be healthy without touching them, let them live and be healthy without touching them. Animals are not yours to oppress. I don't give a shit if it doesn't pollute the environment. I care about what pollutes morality. And this idea that animals are just props for people's culture, that animals' lives just don't matter, should be thrown away, is disgusting. And I will never support animal abuse, regardless of what environmental impact it has, and despite how many factually incorrect people want to label me as a racist, when they're not only the ones preaching discrimination, they're preaching actual violence against animals, which is what my next TikTok will be about. So as many of you know, I made a video telling indigenous people in modern human civilization, like...
Good. All right, another one. That's great. So here the tags that he used are vegans of TikTok, vegan teacher, and indigenous. Okay, good job, Ethan. You're doing well. Now, this is a good Ethan as opposed to Ethan Trace, who is an animal abuser on this app. So I suggest that you follow Ethan Bishop. Let's have a look at what else he's got here.
Nick says, what the fuck is this Malcolm in the Middle reboot?
Okay.
So it baffles me that people think this is a good fucking argument to murder animals. Oh, I used every part of it. Okay, can I murder you if I turn your flesh into fucking lampshades? And
I'm a person, so no. Why is it... Again, if you disagree, that's fine. That's fine if you disagree and you can have a conversation about it. But it seems like this dude and vegan teacher genuinely are unable to grasp the concept that people make a distinction between humans and other animals. Humans view humans differently than we view chickens, cows, deer, even things we consider pets, like cats and dogs. Like, we do not consider these things morally equivalent. And if you do, that's fine. I have no issue with that. But you have to start the conversation not assuming everyone else already feels the same way you do, because most people do not. Big Sweet Demon says, fair warning, this is cringe, but literally all I could think about while watching this person.
Hi, baby girl.
Oh, I hate this! I hate this! I hate this! Okay. Let's watch it. Have you guys seen this? Have you guys seen this? This is classic. Cringe.
Hi, baby girl. Everything's okay, I promise. I forgive you. It's okay, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be okay. I love you. I love you so much. I love you more than there are grains of sand on every beach of every planet, of every galaxy.
You know, all those space beaches! Morok says, okay, I've been separated from my tribe for a few generations, but I know I have some knowledge of things regarding my tribe. Hunting bison for the Lakota wasn't just about food, it was also for clothing, tools, trade goods, materials for teepees, etc. It was our way of life. So much of our culture was wrapped up in the hunt. We would wander the plains following the herds. We had hunting dances and celebrations. So much of our culture is built on it. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think that, I don't know. Again, that guy's like really young, and I don't think he has any, he doesn't have the perspective to recognize that.
Of the universe. I need you in my life. I need you more than humans need water and food to survive.
He's a reptilian confirmed! More than humans need food and water to survive. Muddy says, what the fuck is this man the sun because he needs to stay 93 million miles away from me?
Then Home Depot means to Mr. Logerato. You mean more to me than just anything. You mean more to me than gold and diamonds mean to the greediest burglar. And
see, I would have gone with Scrooge McDuck. Baha. Hold on. I can't take my shirt off for this, I apologize. Hey, baby girl. You mean more to me than a swimming pool full of gold means to Scrooge McDuck. Stupid. Oh no. Whoopsie. Boop.
Just the most perfect, most beautiful girl in all of the world. And I love you so much. I hope you enjoy watching this, baby girl.
Oh.
See you at school tomorrow, baby girl.
Oh.
I love you. I do. It's true. I love you more than anything else in the world. Bye, baby girl. Stay perfect. Just for me.
I No. eToon says Discord mods be like. Muddy says, hey baby. Says, hey baby girl, send boobs and vagine. Daddy Sume says, okay, hold on, this is a baby daddy Dom. He is cringy as fuck because he doesn't have the baritone. Ugh.
You know, make your teeth into dentures and give it to my fucking grandma who doesn't have any teeth. Like, no, it's not justified to murder someone if you're just going to use every part of their body.
Ethan, don't say fucking grandma. In that case, your grandma is somebody you like. Say fucking carnus, but don't use that word in that context.
You're a 50-something-year-old woman. Stop stalking teenagers on TikTok, you creep. You are the fucking grandma. Daddy Sume says, and you don't post that shit publicly. No kidding.
That means absolutely fucking nothing. And if you think it's inappropriate for me to compare humans to animals and to say, oh, well, why is it okay to kill animals if it's not okay to kill humans, then okay, well, what's the difference between animals and humans that justifies the different treatment? And
Sapience. Intelligence. Intraspecies. Empathy.
And any fucking, difference you can give is absolutely ludicrous, okay? You're judging others not by the content of their character, you're judging them by...
Okay, the content of a deer's character is they shit in the woods and eat berries. I don't care. The deer does not have a character, to my knowledge. Individual deer. Individual deer probably have personalities. It's not a judgment on the content of anything. They're an animal. People eat them.
These arbitrary fucking standards that shouldn't be used, okay? You're not preaching equality, you're preaching...
No, most people are not for equality between humans and non-human animals.
Disparity and discrimination based on arbitrary notions of value.
Yes. Yes? Yes.
So...
Okay. Very good. What's he got over here?
The thing I did reminds you of this.
Self in.
Oh, yeah. Look at me!
Alright. Ethan Bishop. He's got again. Vegans of TikTok, vegan teacher, indigenous. Okay. Very good. Alright, so far so good, Ethan. You're doing great. Alright. What else have we got here? this one.
Hi, my name is Nabil. I am Algerian from a Muslim family, and in my culture, we traditionally welcome sheep at home every year and slit their throats, which is animal abuse and is not justified.
Hi, my name is Debbie, and I'm East Asian, and in my culture, animal abuse runs the gamut from eating dogs and having annual festivals celebrating eating them, eating live squid in restaurants, and none of it is justifiable just because it's very common in the culture.
Cool. And that's okay for you to have that feeling on your culture? Although, okay, I'm not going to say what I want to say there. Okay, let me put it this way. For instance, let's say someone says, let's say they're American, and they're very much a part of American culture. And they say something along the lines of, in my culture, on the 4th of July, it's traditional for people to gather and cook beef and make hot dogs and hamburgers, and they kill these animals and whatever. And I don't think that's right. Okay, great. You are within that culture. United States is probably a bad example, too, because it's not exactly the same as, like, some of these other countries, but while you aren't dealing with racism in that case, or like questionable like colonizer shit, other people within your culture can also disagree with you. That's fine. Like, people within different cultures have a greater right to criticize certain aspects from within their own cultures, but that doesn't automatically make their position correct either.
Hi, Sadman Vegan here, and in my culture...
Jamesh says to me this, I'm not doing comments on people's looks.
We traditionally eat goat meat and put it in our vegetable soups, and that's animal abuse.
That sounds more like a goat soup with vegetables than a vegetable soup with goat to me, but I don't know. I'm not a goat soup person, so I don't know.
And that's not justifiable. You don't do that.
Mi nombre es José Razo y yo soy mexicano. Y en mi cultura nosotros tradicionalmente torturamos y asesinamos a puercos.
Chief Goblin says, "You look lovely with your hair down. Didn't expect to see you streaming so late." Yeah, I streamed with Jake earlier, so I'm running behind today.
Y esto es crueldad animal y no es justificado.
Hi, my name is Nabil. I am Algerian from a Muslim family, and in my culture...
All right, excellent. Excellent idea interviewing these people. 4 sexy vegans reject their culture for compassion and empathy. Very good. So follow them. Debbie Irao, Sad Green Vegan, Jose Razo Vegan. Wonderful job so far.
So, I am a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I condemn anyone
here we go.
Who, when subjected to BLM activism, says all lives matter because it's just an attempt to dilute the message and make it more general than it should be.
Sure. Okay.
It's like telling firefighters who are hosing down a burning building to instead focus on all buildings. When
okay, good so far.
Said buildings either aren't on fire or are, but need their own fire truck. And this is why I dislike when advocating vegan activism that people will bring up oppressed migrant workers and things of that nature, which is an issue, but veganism is certainly not the cause of it, nor should veganism be focused on non-animal rights issues. You're basically saying all lives matter to veganism. Why?
I think they're probably saying, like, you care about the lives of animals more than humans. Which, if you do, that's fine. I guess I don't care, but it's just kind of the point they're trying to make.
Why in the world would you say oppressed migrant workers, though, to a vegan, but would never say that to someone fighting against systemic racism? You think they don't cause pain to oppressed migrant workers, despite most of which not only buying things like avocados, but also supporting industrial factory farming where immigrants become slaughterhouse workers and often develop a type of PTSD called perpetrator-induced traumatic stress disorder, among other things? If the Black Lives Matter movement should not be intersectional, which the idea of all lives matter inherently is, then veganism should not be intersectional either. You don't get to have it both ways. If you look at the extent of animal cruelty, especially in industrial animal agriculture, this issue doesn't just require its own fire truck. It requires the entire ocean. It is insane the extent to which we systematically excoriate animals. So how about we treat them with some damn respect and give them their own damn movement? So, I am a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I condemn anyone who, when subjected
I'm going to listen to that one twice.
to BLM activism, says all lives matter because it's just advocating vegan activism focused on not don't cause pain to oppress factory farming where PTSD lives matter movement currently is, then vegan either. You don't get to have animal cruelty, especially in industrial animal agriculture. This issue doesn't win their.
This is very good. Thank you so much to Ethan for your presentation here today. I very much enjoyed looking at your channel, and I look forward to more of your work. If anybody hasn't yet subscribed to this TikTok account, go ahead and do so. And also to this account here, That Vegan Teacher, right here on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe.
Vegan Teacher, learn to use OBS, okay? Please, Streamlabs.
Press the like button. And coming up, you're going to see a bunch of other videos. Click on them. Be curious. Look around this site. There's all kinds of stuff. We are promoting all kinds of amazing...
What's OBS? OBS is like everything you see around, how I'm showing this on screen, and you can hear what I'm hearing. You know, you can set up all this stuff. This is Streamlabs OBS. It's the program I use to both capture my footage, pick up my audio, get the screen capture, and play all the graphics, and it puts them all together. Basically, it's so you don't have to take a camera and film your computer screen. Yeah, we taught Marcel. We got Marcel to learn to screen capture, so maybe we can help that vegan teacher too. Menu Frog says, when my father was alive, he'd watch David Attenborough and salivate. It's a little weird. Alright, who we gonna raid? Who we gonna raid? Sorry. Streamer shit, yeah. Not something most people will ever have to know. Jamesh says, some bits for you. Sorry I seemed like a jerk in my previous bit message. Did you? I know. I get a lot of them. I don't remember. Sorry. Oh no, is Thought Slime watching Mike Matei videos?
That's my wife.
The
Make
thumbnail
sure she's
looked
okay.
like it.
Am I in the part of Canada with the poutine? You mean all of it?
Cirrus is live. True. I've
Yes,
rated
I
Cirrus
am.
a lot. I like to spread it around if I can.
The part you're thinking of is Quebec.
Unable to connect.
And I'm going to go ahead and apologize. My I'm a little I'm feeling a little slow tonight, a little sluggish, a little uncreative, stifled.
All right. Have a
as
good
you
day,
will.
everyone, or a good night, rather.
Because I didn't get shit for sleep. Was it worth it? Yes.
I won't be back tomorrow. I have my electrolysis appointment.
Was it not
so
a
no
lot of
stream,
sleep?
but I'll be back Saturday for
Also, yes.
something. So I'll see you guys then.
It's been a minute.
Maybe
but
we'll
hey,
do like
I'm
a
just glad to see
celebration
you
stream because I
when
got to
you're here.
8,000
I'm doing great. How are you?
followers today. I don't know though.
A raid incoming.
Anyway,
All right,
see you guys
cool.
later. Have a wonderful
the
evening.
RIAA stop suing people for pirating music because they just declared bankruptcy and get out the absurd damages they were asked to pay. Yeah. And how you doing day and night? Oh, it's a Hannah Reloaded. It is a Hannah Reloaded.